A meeting no ex-presidents ever had. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Donald Trump will talk to a New York probation officer today in a virtual meeting from his Florida resort, a required step before sentencing next month after the former president was convicted of falsifying records and payments to keep an alleged affair quiet before the 2016 election. This after a Trump rally in Nevada following days of fundraisers out west.
Hundreds of thousands of people contributed that they wouldn't have except for the court case. And our poll numbers are higher now than they were before because the people are watching and they know a fake deal.
Fox News polls show Trump beating President Biden in the Silver State by 5 points in a head-to-head matchup that is within the margin of error. He made news at the rally by saying he won't charge taxes on tips, an announcement that the culinary union cast as disingenuous.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. Now, late last night came an announcement on Truth Social. Former President Trump backing retired Army Captain Sam Brown for Senate in Nevada ahead of tomorrow's primary, calling Brown a fearless American patriot. The primary winner will challenge Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen in November. Speaking of elections, there's a political upheaval in Europe's parliament, a turn to the right.
French President Emmanuel Macron is taking a huge gamble after his centrist alliance won only half the votes of the far-right National Rally in European elections. He says there needs to be a parliamentary election in France now too. Belgium's Prime Minister's response to the vote in his country is to announce his resignation.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Hunter Biden returns to court this morning at his federal trial in Delaware, where the defense is in the spotlight after the prosecution made its case last week.
And his attorneys are deciding whether or not the first son will take the stand in his own defense. Hunter Biden has been charged with making false statements in the purchase of a firearm in 2018 and possessing a firearm while using or being addicted to illegal drugs.
That's Fox's Brooks Singman. America's listening to Fox.
Go with your gut. Your dog's immune system is based in the gut. A diet lacking in nutrients can cause itching, scratching, and a weak immune system. However, there is a solution. DINOVITE. Dinovite.
It took a grand total of 2 weeks. The dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Try Dinovite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dinovite.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. It is a fresh start to a very great work week. I saw Donald Trump. It's very great. This work week is very great. It's better than every other work week.
It's the greatest work week you ever experienced.
Exactly right. Best one you've ever experienced. How are you, man? Good morning.
Man, I'm good. Ready to do this thing. Got a couple of days this week. We got Rhino starting off on vacation, and it's not a vacation, but we'll be headed to Orlando come Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
Bright and early, heading over our first national volleyball tournament. We got 2 this month, and that'll be the first one.
Yeah. So we'll switch you out for Rhino because Rhino's back Wednesday, and you're out Wednesday moving forward.
And quite honestly, I'm just going to be lighting money on fire.
Yeah, that's right.
For like 10 days, I'm going to be lighting money on fire. My wife and I spend the entire year trying to clear out every credit card for June and get everything taken care of because, let's face it, 8 days in a hotel.
Dude.
It's pretty expensive.
Oh, my God, man. I know, right? And Orlando's an expensive city to begin with.
So, follow that up with Dallas in the following week.
Holy cow, dude.
Yeah.
You lucky duck.
It's going to be pretty pricey.
What, though? The memories made will be worth it.
Yeah.
Because there's not going to be a day that, when you're on your, what's the old saying? When you're on your deathbed and you look back, are you going to be talking about the time you spent with your daughters and your wife in Orlando and then Dallas, or are you going to be talking about the money you spent?
This always goes back to when my wife was growing up now she's been everywhere. Lived in Korea, lived in Germany, but in Huntsville, Alabama is where she was doing high school. And that's where she played her club volleyball at. And all of her friends to this day, y'all are so lucky you're going to another national, because you have to qualify for them.
Sure.
And her little team that she played with in Huntsville, Alabama, they had no chance. They would always joke around about it. They thought they were good. They'd show up to Atlanta. They'd get their heads kicked in.
Oh, wow.
And so we're the ones that do the head kicking in.
Yeah,
But we'll start seeing teams around the country. The first few we're going to play, we're going to smash them.
There we
they have
go.
no right being on the floor with us. But by day 3,
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Things start to equalize.
Yeah, everybody starts to be just as good as you are.
Yeah, it happens, man. I remember that in baseball too. The first couple rounds in just pool play.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we got this, and then you get to bracket, and things are drastically different.
I think this year, and I've got to look up our ranking. I think we're a top 100 team at this point. And last year we finished, I think, 27th in the country. But we'll play a team that's ranked probably 1,200th in the country.
Yeah,
that one they're gonna have a tough day.
Yeah, it just seems like they would want to do like levels of nationals, maybe. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the problem. Quite honestly, we'll do our thing in Orlando. By the time we go to Dallas, I think we're the ones who are going to get our heads kicked in.
Oh, well.
I mean, that one goes up a level.
Where are y'all? Do you already know the teams you'll be playing out there, even this far ahead?
We know who's all in the pool, because that one's a qualifier. Everybody had to win to get into that one. And so it's basically 35 teams, I believe, that all qualified for that one, and every single one of them is good. Nobody's easy. There is no first day, it's going to be chill. No, it's all difficult.
It's
brutal.
It's 0 to 50.
And in the meantime, every single time that I have to order food, I'll just be going, put it on the card.
Yes, that's right. No,
just
I know, man.
Burning money for like the next 10 days once we hit Wednesday.
And that doesn't change when the kids grow up, right?
No.
My son will be 20 at the end of this month. I can't believe that. It sounds so odd to say that out loud, but my son will be 20 years old, but he will be. And we're preparing his Jeep to take it back to Charleston here in a couple months. So we bought a hard-top on Friday. Yep. And that thing cost us, $2,700.
Oh, wow.
And then we got to do new tires. Guess how much those cost? $2,000.
Yeah.
So we're $4,700 deep, and in what is Friday, Monday, like a long weekend.
Well, you could have just gotten the Toyota Camry, but
no, we had to get the Jeep.
Jacob wanted a Jeep.
Yes, we had to do
be
that.
A cool guy.
Well, no, but see, that's the thing. When we bought it, we knew Jacob would need a car eventually, and we wanted to have it paid off by then. My wife had always wanted a Jeep her whole life. She just thought it was cool, so we bought one, and for 5 years, it stayed in the garage for the most part, but we would take it on vacation trips or whatever, and it was just like, okay, we know he's going to need a car. I don't want a car payment.
Third car that's a Jeep.
Yeah.
Get a look at that contract.
You're so dumb.
Yeah, let me tell you, it gets expensive though. But dude, you got two. You're not gonna buy your girls cars.
I know. We joke around about this with our house. Our house has been great. Lived in it since 2010. By the time we get to 2 drivers, that's when it's going to feel cramped,
dude.
So that's where we've been looking at. Hey, maybe we do this with a bigger driveway, and we'll have more space for it. And in this environment, you just can't afford to do it.
You cannot do it. Laura and I talked about it this weekend. You just cannot. There's no way, man.
And my wife loves looking at these few neighborhoods, and I always tell her the same thing. Well, we'll have to make some lifestyle changes.
Yeah, that's right, dude. It's a give and take. There's only so many pieces of the pie.
That's right. That's how it's going to be.
It's not like you can create additional pieces.
I was like, unless we're putting both of these girls into child labor.
That's right.
That's just how it's going to be.
And that's the thing, man. Jacob's been working his tail off. I'm proud of him, man. He's been working his onward gig, and then he's been doing the mentorship, and then he's been coaching his 13U Bombers team. So, dude's been after it, man. That and playing ball himself. So, he's been
That's a
busy.
typical fun baseball summer.
Huge, yeah, it is, man. He's living his best life for sure, and good for him, man. I'm glad that he is. I have learned, Los, and this may not be a surprise to anybody, but it was a surprise to see it written, and yet it was. The Democrats, now they're not voting for Joe Biden. I mean, they'll physically go pull the lever for Joe Biden, but they're not voting for Joe Biden. They're just voting to oppose Trump. Basically, they're not doing anything for themselves whatsoever. It doesn't matter that this is detrimental to them and their pocketbook and their family and any of that stuff. CBS News is reporting that Democrats don't like Biden, they don't want Biden, but because they're so eat up with TDS, they'll vote against their own interests just to spite Trump.
Well, let's see what happens when they get to their convention. That's going to be the big question. Are they going to move forward with someone who is in such decline? Man, we get a video every other day of him wandering off the stage.
I know.
Or shaking invisible hands.
Or pooping himself in, like, at D-Day.
Yeah, or referring to countries that don't actually have money coming their way, yet he still brings them up. It's just weird. Maybe it's not even weird. It's just nature. It's just what happens. It's when you get to a certain age and you have these sort of mental problems, this is what happens. And yet, they've decided, well, we'll vote for that guy until we can't. That's what's going to be curious about that convention.
No, you're right. I think Democrats are their fingers crossed that they're going to find a way. You know, they're going to make Joe say, yeah, I can't do it anymore. I'm going to let Kamala do it, and whoever will be the VP, or we're bringing in whomever to be the lead on the ticket, and Kamala will stay in place to make sure that we see this great vision that we've had all the way through for 4 more years. I mean, Democrats, fingers and toes crossed, but I just don't see it happening, man.
Well, think about how he is to the point, and this happened within like the first 24 months of his presidency. We've continued to see the numbers where it's the least popular president at this time. Then 36 months at this time.
Yeah, it continues like a rolling number.
It continues to drop across the board. And so what are the options? All right. You really think that Kamala Harris ends up being she's even less popular than he is?
I know. That's why I'm saying maybe they'll
are they really on this road to ruin where they're going to get to their convention and say, this is what we're doing?
Yeah. Well, but
Biden Harris.
That's the thing. That I can't imagine. Like I've said it over and over a million times, I almost sound like a broken record a little bit. I can't imagine anybody wasting their political capital. I mean, if you're a prominent Democrat, are you raising your hand to go in and just get kicked in the head? I mean, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're whomever it is, Gavin Newsom or whomever. Maybe they believe strongly, and it'll be shown in the voting too. Once they raise their hand saying I'm in, the Democrats are going to coalesce around them, and it will just be a swell, a wall, just a wall of surf to take them to the shore. But it just doesn't seem logical. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you see it differently? Because I can't imagine how that being the case. Why would you risk, if you want to run, if you're Gavin Newsom, just since I used him, if you are wanting to run 4 years from now, do you think jumping in right now to be the life preserver for Biden is a good idea for your political capital? Because I don't.
It really comes down to what do the independents think? And when it comes to the independents, who is the person that seems to have a favorable view? Because the communists are going to coalesce no matter what.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have a dead Joe Biden or current Joe Biden. Yeah. They're going to go, look, this is our guy. Here's what we're doing.
Right.
Because it's about harnessing and holding on to power. All right. What do the independents think? Will they be the ones to go, you know what, I really kind of like Gavin Newsom? Well, I don't think Gavin Newsom carries enough weight there.
I don't either. You're seeing too many people leave his state. You think all those are Democrats are leaving? Maybe. But, I mean, I can't imagine a Democrat leaving California. They're getting exactly what they want. They love socialism. They're getting it. They love big government and government payouts and government-controlled everything, and you're getting it. So surely it's not the Democrats that are leaving. It's the handful of conservatives or Republicans that are leaving, and the independents, right? I mean, that would be the logical way of thinking about that.
Well, a lot of it comes right back down to when you're trying to play that middle, because, again, the communists are going to do what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. We're going to do what we're going to do. I'm going to hold my nose at times and vote for certain Republicans. It's just how it's going to be. It's those other people that consider themselves in the middle. I kind of weigh all the options. I see where my wallet is, and then I'm going to make a choice. And as of now, even with our latest jobs report on Friday, it's really hard to look at the current situation in this country and say, hey, we're going in the right direction. Everything's fine. Everything's good here. We keep losing more jobs, Americans, and they keep going to more illegals. But hey, no big deal. Look at the stock market. It's great.
It's great. Your 401k looks
totally fine.
Swell. I mean, you can't do anything with your 401k for the next, 25, 30 years.
Don't touch it for 30 years, but hey, when it's there, you're going to love it.
Yeah, it'll be great.
You need to pull some money out of there out of an emergency. Just remember, we're going to take 10% right off the top.
So I started looking at what we spent on groceries last year. And if you average it out, it's about $100 more a week for groceries. We were looking at it yesterday just because we left the grocery store, and I couldn't believe like what we got versus what the receipt said. I was like, this is impossible. And we had the story last week that it was groceries specifically that are affecting people, no matter the demographic, no matter where they rank in the tax, in the tax, in their tax brackets. Groceries are pissing people off because they're so expensive. So I started thinking about it. I was like, okay, I'm going to look at it. And sure enough, we pulled up, we started going through and averaged about $100 more every week.
Which, when you start looking over the course of a year, that 7,000 number that's been out there, how much more expensive it is to live in Joe Biden's America when it comes to just groceries. About $7,000 on average.
Good Lord.
And you, for the most part, because your son's at college, you're only shopping for 2.
Well, let me tell you, he's home.
Well, he's home now, but I'm shopping for 4.
Son, that boy can eat.
That 7,000 is very realistic of what it comes down to.
Absolutely, it is. Man.
That is a number where I go, how did I walk out here spending $50 on these handful of things here?
I know, right?
Again,
two tiny little bags. You got the smallest amount of food that you could possibly have. Let's do this.
We made homemade pizzas yesterday.
Okay, which are those? Is that what you brought the other day?
No.
Okay.
That was that was different, but yeah, I brought some more in here. But so we made homemade pizzas, right? Now, homemade pizzas, you're just getting sauce, you're getting a little bit of dough, putting this together. It's fun for the kids. So that's why we were doing it. You get the grill heated up, throw it right there on the pizza stone, and here we go. By the time that I got everything I needed and then left there, it was $130.
That's what I'm saying, man.
And homemade pizza is supposed to be the cheap option.
Yeah, but it's not anymore. I don't think there's anything that's cheap anymore. No matter what it is, dude. Nothing is cheap. And let me tell you, we went and bought that hardtop I was telling you about for my son's Jeep, right?
$2,700.
$2,700. And credit cards are no longer your friend. The guy that I bought it from, because I bought it secondhand, he was just, getting rid of his, whatever reason. And he was like, I was like, how, what's the best way to pay you? And he was like, well, cash. And I didn't even think about it as I was driving over there. And I was like, man, I got credit card, or can I do credit card? And he's like, yeah, but it's 3%.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm not eating that.
The service charge alone.
That's exactly right. And that was another, $100, $100 plus.
Yep.
You're like, good Lord, nothing. Even down to the point you're being charged a tip from the credit card company. You're tipping the credit card company just to be able to use their credit card. They get the interest, and then you get that thrown on top when you're buying something. It's unbelievable, dude.
You ever think it's a lot of fun when we calculate inflation? That's what the government does. That they leave out key factors that actually matter.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that they can claim, hey, look, inflation's only at 3%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but added on to what we've had over the last several years, really it's closer to about 25-30%.
Oh, my God, dude.
Across the board.
Yeah. And but Joe Biden is great.
But everything's great. Everything's great, though.
Great. He and Kamala are
all smiles. Did you see that stock market?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that 401k. Look at these global companies just, making a crazy ton of money.
What do you think?
Everything's awesome.
Isn't it great? They
keep firing you, and they hired the guy who just crossed the border for pennies on the dollar.
That's right.
So the profit margins are huge, baby. Woo!
Let's knock it out of the park. I know you're just like a big corporation. That's why you're being so successful too right now. Everything you're doing is great, and you're going to be just fine, man. It's unreal. It really is. Oh, Lord. What a way to start a Monday. It just
come on in, everybody.
Let's go.
Come on into America. Let's drive up them 401ks.
What do you think?
Whoa.
Let's go. Everybody's happy. Everybody's partying. Everybody's having a good time.
How those global companies doing? Look at that bottom lines. America's strong.
And then you think about what happened in Europe this weekend with all the upheaval.
Oh.
And it even pisses me off when I hear Fox News at the top of the hour when they're like, well, the leftist, the centrist party, which is the socialist, communist, leftist, they call them the centrist, and then the far right party, right?
The far right. Hold on.
The far right gains a bunch of ground, and those centrists, which are actually leftist communists, they are fighting for their life.
It's weird how Europe is 6 to 9 months ahead of us in the fact that they're wanting to restore their borders.
Imagine that.
So weird.
Yeah, the Netherlands, huge losses for the leftists. France, huge loss for Macron. He dissolves their government or their whatever they do over there. I don't know what they do. Bunch of crazies. They talk funny and they're soft. I know that for sure. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. The money keeps rolling in for Donald Trump after his sham conviction. Next on Extra 106.3.
Atlanta radio legends collide on Extra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is live every week with Atlanta legend The Kimmer. Because when you get these two guys together, who knows where we'll end up?
I am shocked. Well, not that shocked.
The Kimmer is live on your drive home every weekday afternoon from 3 to 6. And now Neil Bortz joins this show every week. And if you miss it, catch up anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
I just told you we're getting my son's Jeep prepared to go to back to Charleston to college about mid-August. And so that took the money that we wanted to use to replace our back deck, but we didn't stop daydreaming about it. We'd like to extend that thing out to the length of the backside of the house and then make it wider too by about 3 or 4 feet. Man, it'd be so awesome. If we ever get to that point, and we'll start saving. So one thing our financial advisor always tells us, we all save better than anybody else I work with. When we save up that money and we decide we're going to do that back deck just the way we want it, living in our fantasy world, we're going to call Southern Exteriors. They use the highest quality material. They work harder than anybody else. They shake your hand. They look you in the eye. And they do exactly what they say they'll do. They have an on-site foreman that's there if you have any questions about anything that's happening. He can walk you through it, help you understand it. And if any adjustments need to be made, they can do that too. Southern Exteriors, if you need anything done to the exterior of your home, roofing, siding, gutters, porches, windows, doors, anything you need done, Southern Exteriors can do it for you. And they'll do it at a great cost and quality that is unmatched. Call them today, 877-9-SOUTHERN or southernexteriors.co. You did not hear me wrong. It is southernexteriors.co.
Your Atlanta Braves are wanted in Texas this summer for the 2024 MLB All-Star Game. All fans who vote for the Atlanta Braves as their favorite club will receive an offer for 20% off 4 tickets to a game at Truist Park from June 14th through the 30th in select locations. Make sure the Braves take over Texas for the Midsummer Classic. Visit Braves.com/vote to cast your ballot for Marcell Ozuna, Matt Olson, and all your favorite Braves. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
My name is Pamela Conley. I've worked for Bruce Hagen for 22 years. It's been the best years of my life, and not everyone can say that about their jobs. I'm the intake specialist for new clients, so I am the voice you hear when you call our office and the first face you see when you come by. I love sharing my years of experience with people and alongside Bruce, helping them through what is so often a really hard time. My name is Pamela Conley, and I work for Bruce Hagen. Let him work for you. Hagen-law.com.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
At the Piedmont Bank, we're proud to be one of Georgia's largest community banks, focusing on serving businesses and the communities they serve. With headquarters right here in Metro Atlanta, our tailored banking expertise and solutions help meet the diverse needs of our customers so they have what it takes to grow, expand, and thrive. It's what elevates us above the rest. Find a location near you at Piedmont.bank and experience elevated banking for you and your business. The Piedmont Bank. Banking elevated. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
At Nelson Elder Care Law, we understand that family's everything. That's why we prioritize your family's future with personalized asset protection solutions. Call us today to schedule your legacy planning meeting and discover how our team can tailor our services to meet your family's unique needs, ensuring a secure and worry-free future. NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
Yellow Jacket fans, your Georgia Tech football team prepares to tackle the competition this fall in historic Bobby Dodd Stadium at Hyundai Field.
5 seconds to go. He will toss it into the end zone at the 5. Into the end zone. Touchdown Jackets. Touchdown Jackets. I see it, and I still don't believe it.
Support second-year head coach Brent Key and the Jackets on game day by visiting RamblinRack.com to get your single game and season tickets today. Sting 'em.
As an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, the Warrior Alliance connects warriors and their families to free services such as health and wellness, housing, employment, education, legal services, and so much more. We need your financial support to increase our impact and change thousands of lives for those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. It takes more than just thank you for your service. Make a donation to help warriors navigate to success after service. Go to thewarrioralliance.org/donate and make a difference today.
You may know Bortz is back, but not everyone else does. Tell anyone who loves America, Bortz is back on the radio in Atlanta, and his new home is Extra 106.3. Listen to him now on the Extra 106.3 app.
Today, also a very monumental day. Tug Rhino, front office Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. I've been a fan for many, many years. I watch it before Jeopardy comes on, which Jeopardy's my favorite TV show.
Cops.
But it's not Cops, no. It's
Naked and Afraid.
No.
Bar Rescue.
No, I've seen none of those, no. No. Not even close.
You haven't seen Bar Rescue?
I've never seen it.
You'd love John Taffer.
He's got Taffer's Tavern right in downtown Alpharetta.
That he does.
Yeah. So I've been to his place, but I don't watch his TV show.
Oh, well, you don't know what it's like to shut it down.
Shut it down!
Shut it down!
Is that when things have gone awry? And,
yes.
And I have seen that show, too. I take that back. I have seen that show a couple times because I remember him talking about that. How are you running this? This is crazy. You can't run it like this. What's the matter with you?
Oftentimes it's when there's raw chicken or cross-contamination and they're feeding the guests. And he's like, you're going to get somebody killed. Shut it down.
Shut it down. Yes, I've seen that show many, many times and didn't even it's been a while, but I don't even think I realized it was the same guy. It's how oblivious I am sometimes.
House Hunters, that's your other one.
House Hunters. Now, my wife loves all those shows. So I've seen those over the years, specifically on the weekends when there's not much happening and she'll be, I'll be recording something and I'll come upstairs and that's what she'll have on. And I'll watch for a little while. And what's the other one? Love It or List It. She loves that one.
Oh, Love It or List It, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you, Love It or List It 2, one of my highlights was getting the designer to at one point like a tweet that I included her on.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Yeah.
How about that? Nice work, dude.
That was a big deal for me.
That is a big deal. That's cool, man. I know on that show, I feel like I can nail every time the answer. Are they going to like it or list it? And most of the time, it seems like they like
it's
it.
It's only 50-50, Tug. They usually like it.
They always like it.
They always like it.
But it becomes a game. You're trying to make fun of my little game that I play with the show.
I mean, at least House Hunters gives you like 3 options.
That's 33%. No, I love it. No, but I feel like every time I can tell whether they're going to like it. And it feels like 9 out of 10. They always like what they've done versus listing it and moving to the new house. But no, this show is not one of those. This is Pat Sajak. He is retiring from Wheel of Fortune tonight after hosting the show since 1983. And this, I guess this is considered the funniest answer that's ever aired on Wheel of Fortune. And this is Pat's reaction to it. Keep in mind, 2 of the words were hyphenated.
One of our all-time favorites was from 1999. It was done right here at Madison Square Garden. Remember this? P. There is a P. A group of pill pushers?
No.
This is Wheel of Fortune, y'all!
Pretty good.
A group of pill pushers. Such a great answer. Like as if that would ever be the answer anywhere. Oh my God, dude.
I mean, the punctuator of all that is Pat Sajak. This is Wheel of Fortune,
Joe. Yeah, so good, man. And what do y'all think? Do y'all ever watch Wheel of Fortune? Am I on an island here?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that was a big one for my grandparents, and we would watch a little bit of it, before dinner, because again, it hits differently hour wise in Texas, and so that used to be part of the. Hey, it's almost time for dinner. Watch Wheel of Fortune and then go ahead and eat after that.
Yeah.
We're a Wheel of Fortune family.
Are you? God bless you.
Yeah,
I feel like I've been on an island and you've let me hang by myself and take the beating like a pinata.
I love Wheel of Fortune.
Okay, well,
right before Jeopardy.
Yes, dude, Jeopardy.
And my mom, she's the best. I can't believe she's never been on the show.
My wife's real good at it, too, and I'm not, man. I'm slow on the uptake.
It'll be
on
like
that
one letter. She's like, it's... The Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, right.
Something, I don't know. Everything. Every time. It's insane.
Democracy and freedom. She knows it just because it's got the C. The C's eliminated, that's it. Yes. And she knows it's democracy and freedom or something crazy like that.
By the way, can I give you an offshoot topic that has nothing to do with our television viewing?
Yeah.
Last night, so I don't notice these things, okay? I've never noticed these things. My mother-in-law starts stirring around the house talking about an earthquake, and I'm like, go to bed, lady. Like you've
had too many shots of bourbon tonight.
In my mind, I'm like, did she get in any wine? Like, what was going on? Why is she talking about this sort of stuff? I get on the neighborhood page. I'm getting the same thing. Then we also hear from the good, strong listener Stephanie, who pointed out, yeah, we had an earthquake at Lake Lanier last night. Two of them.
Are you serious?
We had 2 different earthquakes that occurred at Lake Lanier. The best story on this you can find in the Sacramento Bee. We had a 2.3 at about 11:15. That's the one that got my mother-in-law dancing around. And then a 1.7 at 1 o'clock in the morning, which also got her up out of bed and asking she thought there was something going on in our laundry room or in our basement. And I slept through all, like, the 11:15, I didn't feel that. I was talking to my wife at the time. She's out of town. But the 1 o'clock one, I was out. There's no chance.
Yeah. You're a tick north of us, and we didn't notice it either.
I heard Miss Alabama was doing cannonballs into Lanier.
Maybe that's what it was. Joey being ugly this morning, and I love it.
Joe.
That's funny.
Being nasty towards these friendly people. But yeah, it's been interesting to kind of read up on this. Like our neighborhood page blew up, and hey, did y'all feel that? Was that an explosion? What happened? And apparently we've now had. That's now 3 since 2020. So we got some seismic activity in our area, man.
Dude, why is the Sacramento Bee why are they the one that has the first story? What in the world am I missing here?
I think they probably just follow the Gov page that does all this sort of stuff, that tracks this, and probably did a write up on it. Or remember, since Lake Lanier is haunted, it's like this perfectly fits with the entire mythology of what's going on with that lake.
Okay, there was something that didn't our friend Stephanie, didn't she post something like she had something about that?
She had the whole seismic activity, and then reading up, there's a lot of people that were camping out at Lake Lanier that were like, yeah, everything shook.
Okay, yeah, that's where I didn't know. I saw her post, and you can follow her at Know It All Mom on Twitter, now known as X. You can follow me at Tug Cowart, at Rhino Xtra 1063, at Front Office Los, and at Joe Tom Virgin. I saw that post, and it came up in our notifications, but I never put it together that it was an earthquake. I thought she was talking about, because I just saw where it says looks like the ghost of Lake Lanier were at it again. So I just thought she was talking about some silly thing about the lake being on.
Immediately going into the ghost. So no, we had 2 earthquakes in the Cumming, Buford, Sugar Hill area last night.
Good Lord.
In fact, I'm reading through Twitter. One guy 8 hours ago says he felt it over in Sugar Hill. Then 2 hours later, which works out perfectly with the timelines, has on Twitter, another one.
Oh, goodness gracious, man. Yeah, I sleep through some earthquakes. I ain't waking up for that.
Man, my mother-in-law bounced up for both of them. She was walking around the house thinking something crazy had happened to me. Again, I certainly didn't feel the first one, which I probably should have, and I slept through the second one.
She's got her own, like, what is it, seismometer? Was that what's that called?
No, I don't know. But
whatever that thing
whatever
is.
the thing is, yes. Somewhere in her body is the ability to pick up any seismic activity, and she immediately jumps up out of bed.
Yeah, the measure of earthquake. I'm looking that up real quick. What is that called? This new AI thing that they have on Google.
Seismometer.
Seismometer, right?
Seismometer.
Seismometer?
This is the smartest show in all of Atlanta. None of us can come up with this.
Yeah, yeah, we should probably move along.
So anyway, if you felt the earthquake, hit us up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That front office Lowe's.
What about the boys that were staying up there on the lake for the golf tournament?
That's what I'm kind of curious about. If they were staying out at Lake Lanier, they more than likely had to have felt that.
Man, I bet they were drunk shooting fireworks. It wasn't an earthquake at all.
Well, that's probably that too. Even if there was an earthquake, trust me, with what was going on into that evening, like I left. I was like, it's time to go. That was going to continue going.
Yeah. Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. If you survived the earthquake of 2024, 404-741-1230. That way we know how to report on this correctly, and if you could help us with any sort of terminology so we can get it all right, we'd appreciate that too. Donald Trump, since the flimsy trial gave him a flimsy verdict of guilty, he's been recognized at UFC events. He's been, hailed as a victor. Not a person that's being persecuted. They note that too, but he's treated like a champion walking in. There's actually a video on right now from ESPN of Dana White just leading Donald Trump into this building, and the place looks like he's the owner of it. He just is the guy, the victor. He's already the champion, and he hasn't even gotten in the ring yet, which is amazing. But the other thing that's happening, maybe you don't realize, is that people are donating at an incredible clip. There was hours after his conviction came down, the verdict came down, he raised like $58 million. And then through the weekend, this past Monday, it was up to $200 million. And now Donald Trump says it's at $400 million. Check this out.
I just went through a rigged trial in New York with a highly conflicted, and I mean highly conflicted judge, where there was no crime. It was made up, fabricated stuff. They didn't want to bring the case. They could have brought the case 7 years ago. It's only when you run for office they bring cases. But they would have done that 7 years ago thing, not in the middle of my presidential campaign, where we're beating Biden, by the way, by a lot. Did you see?
Did you see?
And by the way, right after the announcement of this, more campaign funds were given to this campaign than any campaign they think in history. Almost $400 million.
$400 million. He was speaking in Phoenix, Arizona, to the Turning Point USA Action PAC, which I'm a huge fan of and follow all their stuff. Turning Point USA does some good work, but $400 million. Not only is it a grip of money, he said potentially the biggest campaign injection of cash in the history of politics in the United States of America. Dude, that's an astronomical number that I can't even wrap my head around.
When we started talking about $100 million, $200 million, and we had the story about how Eric Trump was saying, listen, the small donations are currently at 78, 80 million. We're going to chase 200 million with what some of the bigger donations are coming in. Man, to get to 400 million, this is... Nobody can vote right now, okay? Like, that's just how it goes. Voting is going to be available several weeks down the line. Nobody can vote right now. You can hand over money.
Yeah.
And you're finding out the votes are coming in money-wise.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think people are looking at what's happening, and I think you're right. They're like, we can't vote right now. What can we do? We can give. And I've never been led to give to a politician before, ever. I've never donated to a politician's campaign that I recall. I don't remember ever doing it. And there's that little bit of me that had the urge to. I've not done it, but I've had the urge to, Los, just because it's spitting in the face of all the corruption that I feel like is there and that I feel like I see and that is visible for everybody. Do you have that same desire? Have you had that urge to? Because I have, man. I've not done it, but I'm not saying I won't.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I got a text message from a friend of mine, listens to the show, listens to the sports end as well, and when the ruling came down, I'm out and about. I'm at a swim meet, so it's like I'm not really I'm by the channel. I'm not I'm locked into everything. Trust me, as soon as it came down, then I'm like, all right, let me go check out the Kimmer Show. But what occurred was that I started getting text messages about hey, this is crazy. This is BS. I'm going to donate right now. The site's down. And I'm like, what? That's what the listeners, that's what, a friend of mine started letting me know, that he was so incredibly bothered by what had happened, what had come down, that immediately his first and only reaction was go to the website, donate money.
Yeah, I think that's a natural reaction because you're like, how can I push back on this? You feel helpless a little bit and you feel handcuffed because you're like, this is not the country that I grew up in. This is not the country that I want for my kids and my grandkids. What can I do in the moment that would have an effect? And that's the only answer. There's nothing else that you can do. I mean, I guess you can put up signs. I guess you could go volunteer, maybe get involved. So maybe there are some other things. You can get involved in the election, like Janelle King working with the Georgia Board of Elections. She's taking the next step. She's doing something to be active and making sure that Georgia's elections are secure. She wants to be a part of that. So if you're encouraged by that, maybe you should go do it too. I'm not telling you to donate to Trump. I would never tell you to do that. But if that's the way you feel compelled, good, go do it. But if it compels you to get involved, that's actually a bigger victory than Trump raising all that money.
Yeah, if you can't vote right now, but make it a point, hey, go vote. And if you don't want to do that as of right now, because obviously you can't, go donate. Or more than anything, just know what's going on.
Yeah,
if you know what's going on, if you're engaged in what is going on, then you're in the 1%, the 5% that are paying attention. Because it's not until you start getting around other people that you realize how little everyone else really pays attention to this stuff.
Yeah, no, that's right. And like our group of friends, there's about 10 of us. And I talk about them all the time. It's just people that we've become very close with because of athletics. So our kids, and Los, you're experiencing that right now. You probably have friends that you'll be friends with from now on because of the interaction between the kids. And that's a wonderful way to meet people. But they know what I do for a living, and they'll occasionally ask me, about something, but not with any regularity, and they don't like to get into discussions about politics. But individually, all of a sudden, I'm starting to get texts from them about things like this. Like, what do you think about this? What is it that I'm missing? What part of this story isn't real? Where do you go to get news? I want to get something other than mainstream media outlet coverage. Where do you go? And I've been giving them ideas. And in the group setting, nobody brings it up, and neither do I. But in the private setting, people are being compelled to pay attention.
The amount of times, Tug, in the last 2 weeks, because of all this stuff going on, where I've been asked, can you explain to me what happened? Something as simple as that.
And but what? Like, give me an example of which scenario. Like in the case,
for instance, when it comes to Donald Trump being convicted on 34 counts,
sure.
The question is, all right, well, what did he do?
Right. Well, that's a big question to try to answer.
Right. But think about just at the very heart of it, something as simple as, well, what did he do? Now, if you're paying attention, which most people, let's face it, they're busy. I mean, they've got the kids, they got the job, they got 100 things to worry about. Worrying about a dumb case in New York, because that's what it is. It's a dumb case in New York. Should not be on their radar. But that is what has happened in the last 2 weeks, which it's essentially been explain to me what happened here. And I think that's part of what's driven so much of these donations is that people who look into it a little bit get upset. People who look into it a lot get a lot upset.
Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Tug, Rhino, Front Office Los, 404-741-1230. When we come back, Hunter Biden, was he the inspiration behind a Harry Chapin song? Surely not. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
I hope a bunch of Democrats come at me sometime and try to get me in my face if I'm wearing a MAGA hat or an American, if I'm wearing a Marine Corps golf jersey like I do every freaking day. Accuse me of being a white supremacist. Accuse me of being a racist. Accuse me of being bad for my government. Accuse me of being a traitor to my country. Accuse me of, of the business of this Nazi business like they've been pulling off. Go ahead and try it. Face to face.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
I've told you about working with Central Heating and Air Conditioning for quite some time, but now they're doing something called Christmas in July. And I know we're not to July yet, and it's not Christmas time. But here's the deal. Any maintenance agreement that you or any of your friends sign up for with Central Heating and Air Conditioning between now and the end of July. $10 of that maintenance agreement goes to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. So not only are they going to take care of your house, make sure that your equipment, your HVAC units run at optimal, just extremely well, the way they're supposed to. They are going to also take care of the community. They're going to take care of the place that your kids and grandkids go when they're sick or when they're hurt. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, we've all been there with our kids. And that's why Chuck and his team want to make sure that they benefit every year. They've been doing this for 5 or 6 years. The Christmas in July. So if you need maintenance on your HVAC unit so they run the way they're supposed to perfectly, as Donald Trump would say, better than ever before, perfectly. I can't do a good impression. Joe is on the other side of the glass. What up, Joe? He can. But anyway, point being, get a maintenance agreement today. Make sure your HVAC units run perfectly, run the way they're supposed to, and then get that donation up. Make sure that that donation is gigantic. That way, when we take that big old check over there, they know where it came from. You and the fine folks, Chuck and his team at Central Heating and Air. How do you sign up? You go to centralheat.com or call 770-GET-HEAT. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
On this episode of The Real Houses of Atlanta.
Whoa, Bobby, what's going on?
Well, now that I'm the HOA president, I'm going to start cracking down on the neighborhood.
With a sledgehammer?
Oh, look, this place is looking rough, and nobody's moving right now either. So I'm telling the neighbors it's time to fix up the homes they have.
And what do you suggest?
Well, I'm telling everybody on the block about Exovations. They're right here, and they can get your house the facelift it needs. We're talking new siding, roofing, windows, doors, decks, even porches, patios, and porticos. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to start with Jim next door. Hey, Jimmy, you got a window out. Check the bylaws.
Hi, this is Candace with Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. Avoid an HOA headache and let us give your home the facelift it needs. We'll introduce you to our ExoVision, our very own architectural design that allows you to envision your home's transformation before you even start the project. Ready for your on-time, on-budget, and stress-free renovation? Visit exovations.com and book your consultation today.
You have enough to deal with after an accident. You don't want to spend a lot of that time messing around with insurance companies. Besides, what are you going to say to them? You really know the ins and outs? David Van Sant at Van Sant Law does. He used to work for the insurance companies. Their worst nightmare. He knows who to call, what to say, how to listen to them, and he has your best interest at heart. Van Sant Law, 855-GA-INJURY. VanSantLaw.com, 855-GA-INJURY.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Don't miss the Atlanta Mushroom Festival, Sunday, June 23rd at Park Tavern in Piedmont Park. Beginning at 12 p.m. and ending at 7 p.m., this dog and family-friendly event features live music, educational speakers from the CDC and Emory, and over 30 mushroom-themed vendors. Early bird tickets are only $10, which directly supports the nonprofit festival. For more information, visit AtlantaMushroomFestival.com or Atlanta Mushroom Festival on all social platforms.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Ownwell. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ownwell.com/terms. Estimate based on your neighborhood average and individual results may vary.
Here in Atlanta, we've got history, good food, sky view, and outrageous sky-high property taxes. Sometimes with a bill 5 times higher than other Georgia counties. But luckily, there's Ownwell. Ownwell can appeal and reduce your property taxes and potentially save you thousands of dollars.
And right now, you can sign up for free by texting LEARN to 64,000.
You don't have to be an expert to save thousands of dollars every year, because Ownwell's cutting-edge technology and local tax experts do all the legwork for you. And you only pay if you save. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the view.
Sign up now, free. Don't pay unless you save. Text LEARN to 64,000. Text LEARN to 64,000. Text LEARN to 64,000.
Election coverage is more than polls and numbers. It's about what matters in your life and your community. And Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station cares about your community, your voice, and most importantly, your vote. So keep it all here for the latest and download the Extra 106.3 app and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Tuck Rhino in front of us, Lost on the Morning Xtra at Extra 106.3. Happy Monday to you, 404-741-1230. At Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. As we come back with Harry Chapin from 1974. Unless you listen to the Ugly Kid Joe version, which was about 91, I think. You have to fact check me on that one. But I didn't realize that maybe Hunter Biden was the inspiration for this song. I thought that couldn't be the future. Case. Yeah, I mean, who knew? I had no idea, but it turns out it may be the case.
There's times where I get a little bit of internet and it makes me giggle, and I say, "Thank you, internet. You're the greatest thing ever. You're so creative. Way to bring something to the forefront.
Take it to Hollywood, please."
So this was posted yesterday, and this is to Cats in the Cradle. It's a Hunter Biden song, but just understand that there's the imagery is one thing, as the song shows Hunter in the throes of just being on
everything,
crack. Everything that he was involved in.
Prostitution, crack, all the normal things that people were involved with.
But the lyrics are awesome. Take a listen.
And Hunter's in the basement with a silver spoon.
Oh, my.
The hookers and drugs, we're gonna be there soon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when. I'll be good and high by then, Dad. Yeah, I'll be good and high by then.
Yes, you will.
Picking through rugs, smoking anything that even remotely resembled crack cocaine.
I'm very proud of my son.
My son came around just the other day. He said, I got me a deal where we can both get paid. Can I trade on your name? I said, sure, okay. Will anyone know? He said, no way. And as he walked away, he looked kind of dim and said, I'm gonna be like him, yeah.
Oh,
you know I'm gonna be like him.
He's fixed it. He's worked on it.
And Hunter's in the basement with a silver spoon.
Them dropping in random piece of audio of Joe Biden talking about his son. And you now look back on this, and to think that the FBI always knew that the laptop was real, and that the federal prosecution of his gun charge is based on his laptop, which we were told by 51 former officials that it's Russian disinformation.
51 who won't get any punishment, that won't have their name tarnished, because nobody really knows even who they are.
Well, this is a true albatross, and it really comes down to when the American public, because you had as many as 20% of people who said, had I known about this, I probably would have altered my vote. So that was electioneering. That was how you have election interference. So what about this time around? And so
lawfare this time around.
Do you realize that having a crackhead son, and by the way, we found cocaine in the White House. Don't know whose it is, but I'm just saying.
Right, yes. There's not a chance we know who it is. It's hard to inspect the most secure building in the world that's the most surveyed building in the world. So, yeah, it'd be hard to figure out who that belongs to.
I know that they like to paint Donald Trump in a certain light, and I always say he's bombastic, he's buffoonish at times. I don't care for the fact that he is basically trying to cut the Freedom Caucus off at the knees, but hey, nobody wants to hear about that. Donald Trump, this and this and this.
Yeah.
All right. It's still the best option.
It is.
Okay? Still the best option. And it still comes down to, when you really boil it down, it's his family. It's pretty honorable. The kids are kind of squared away, right? That's what they've been able to do.
Yeah.
Versus a really trashy American family that has used politics to get to the top.
Dirty, low down, dude. You know, and
when you called them white trash, I wasn't going down that road. You certainly did, and you did. And I was like, it's accurate.
It's the truth. I grew up around a lot of white trash, and I don't dislike them. I just know they operate different than I wanted to and are willing to. And the Biden family reminds me of that, the way they behave. They just happen to have power, right? And so with that power and influence, they still do the trashy things. It's like the Kardashians, dude. They're trashy, dude. And it's just the way they have a lot of money. They can dress well, but they're still at their core, they're trashy people.
At the heart of it, they're still, where's the camera?
It's exactly right, man. And there's no difference.
In the case with the Bidens, it's, all right, how do we obtain more power?
That's right. And money.
Yeah.
Which
they go hand
in hand. That's exactly right. How do we use our platform to make ourselves incredibly wealthy? And they have.
Well, and for me,
it still comes back to, if Donald Trump and his family didn't want anything to do with this, you know what they would be doing? They would be sitting on billions of dollars and they'd be living their lives. But they decided to get involved. The Biden family wouldn't be sitting on any money if not for the public.
I know, it's exactly right. Well, that's what usually happens. And the difference is, like Trump or not, dude didn't take a salary. He's not even taking a salary.
Doesn't need
When
it.
did Joe Biden say, "Nah, I'm not taking a salary"?
No, I'm good here.
Yeah, no. He didn't say that.
I know that I've enriched myself on the back of the American public.
Right. And I'm going to continue.
For 40 years, but you can trust me.
Yes, please trust me. Chelsea
Look at these companies that I've built. There's 25 of them.
Yeah. Yes. They're
called
just
shell companies.
Exactly right. Nobody actually works there. It's just a pass-through for money to keep you from being able to track that it came from the CCP, allegedly. Joey got me the other day because I threw out an allegedly. He's like, smart move there.
That's the game. Just throw it out there every now and then.
That's what's alleged. And I believe to be true. Like, that's my opinion. I believe that to be true. But it is alleged to have happened. What do you think? 404-741-1230. If you want to get it off your chest, maybe you can let me know what you think about it. If they've enriched themselves off the back of the American public. Chelsea Handler gave 50 Cent a stern talking to for his unacceptable support of Donald Trump after a Fox News update on Xtra 106.3.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Xtra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
The only way they keep this guy is if they want America to fail. If they want to drag us down to a second world power, that's the plan.
It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing compared to Donald Trump that's better today. What's better today? Pick any topic: economy, energy, culture, gender, military strength, world views. I mean, pick any freaking topic, and compare it to 4 years ago, and tell me what's better. Anyone.
The one thing that may tilt the election: when Trump was in office, the Big Mac was $3. Now it's $8 for a Big Mac.
In fact, I'm glad you said that. I have on my
people see that every day when they go to McDonald's. Holy cow!
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Well, Michael, I want to thank you for your time, but unfortunately, we can't offer you the position.
Why?
Well, we got the results of your background check, and quite frankly, we were concerned.
About what?
Apparently, you were arrested for throwing a shopping cart at a customer?
In my defense, he had it coming.
At Horizon Background Screening, we find things that other companies don't. That's why companies that use us make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com.
Get ready for Real Talk on the Janelle King Show, where we tackle kitchen table topics that are banned from family gatherings, but crucial for a strong republic. Tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday for an encore episode at 9 a.m. And if you can catch us live, great. But if not, no worries. New podcasts drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park right here on Xtra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcast. Join us for insightful conversations that matter.
This is Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons. We've always been Atlanta's best at installing and servicing garage and entry doors, but you would be surprised at how many windows we've installed as well. So we're proud to announce a new division, All Four Seasons Windows. We now have the ability to make sure every opening in your house is safe, energy efficient, and looks darn good. So give us a call today to schedule your free sales consultation. Find out how you can decrease your energy bills and increase the beauty and value of your home with All Four Seasons garage, entry doors, and windows.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
This is Poll Parade with Fox News Director of Polling,
Dana Blanton.
Everyone is tracking Nevada in this year's presidential race. While it only has 6 electoral votes, that understates its importance. The last time Nevada went for a Republican was George W. Bush in 2004. But in 2020, Joe Biden won it by only 2.5 percentage points. And our new Fox News survey of Nevada registered voters shows it could be tough to keep it blue. Donald Trump is ahead by 5 points in a head-to-head matchup, 50% to Biden's 45. Within the margin of error, but half of voters there say it feels like they are falling behind financially, including 6 in 10 independents and 3 in 10 Democrats. And by a wide margin, 16 points, Nevada voters believe Trump would do a better job than Biden on the economy. One more item we're tracking. Union households, an important group in Nevada. Biden won them by 15 points in 2020. Now they favor him by just 1. I'm Dana Blanton, and that's your potpourri.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
A meeting with a probation officer. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Something no president has ever had, but Donald Trump doesn't have to be in New York for it today. He'll be in a video call from his Florida resort.
This is prior to his July 11th sentencing date, following his conviction for falsifying business records in the so-called hush money case. The purpose of the interview is to prepare a report for the judge, which can be used to determine proper punishment. Judge Juan Merchan can hand down a sentence ranging from probation and community service to 4 years in prison.
Fox's Kevin Uretsky, now the former president, insists he committed no crimes. He's a political target.
I got indicted again and again and again. I was never indicted. In a period of this little tiny period of time, I was like a ping pong ball.
The former president at a rally in Nevada after days of big fundraisers out west.
We have a lot of Democrats that are coming over because really we're the party of common sense.
The trial resumes this morning for President Biden's son Hunter in Wilmington, Delaware, where Fox's Rich Edson reports.
On Friday, lead defense attorney Abby Lowell was overheard saying that he was going to take the weekend to decide if Hunter Biden was going to get called to the stand. Well, that answer is due in a couple of hours when court reconvenes here, so we'll all figure out if we're going to see Hunter today take the stand. If he does not, decides against taking the stand, this could all happen very, very quickly. We could get into closing arguments and jury deliberations by this afternoon.
Hunter Biden's charged with illegally buying a gun in 2018 while an illegal drug user. 2 Israelis have resigned from the war cabinet, including centrist leader Benny Gantz, accusing Prime Minister Netanyahu of mismanaging the war against Hamas the day after a raid rescued 4 Israeli hostages.
Special forces stormed 2 buildings in the Nuseirat refugee camp. There, they were engaged in firefights with Hamas gunmen, but ultimately completed the mission.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv, an Israeli soldier was killed. And officials in Gaza say the rescue mission also left 274 Palestinians dead. America's listening to Fox News.
Your pet isn't just a pet, they're part of your family. Most of the pet food on the market is cooked at high temperatures, which kills nutrients. A scoop of Dynavite is a 3-in-1 daily supplement, adding back key nutrients to your pup's health. Try Dynavite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at DINOVITE.com/radio. That's Dynavite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynavite.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Tug Howard, Scott Rhino, and Carlos Medina get your day started with Atlanta's only live and local conservative talk on the Morning Extra.
Tug, Rhino, and Losa on the Morning Extra, the app, the best way to listen. That way you can listen live and on demand. It's super flexible. It's kind of like a DVR for your radio a little bit. Do people still have DVRs, or is it just everything's kind of streaming now?
Yeah, I think everything's digital at this point.
Yeah,
right?
So what do they call it? Because I can still set, like we have direct TV stream. You can still set it to record things. Is that what do you call that these days? A recorder?
Record it?
Yeah,
just records to the cloud.
Records to the cloud.
The cloud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Use my finger quotes.
Yeah,
everything's the cloud.
The cloud. It's always in the cloud. No, but because when I said that, I was like, well, DVR sounds so outdated. But it'd be like saying TiVo. Why don't we TiVo it? When's the last time you heard anybody say that?
I still remember telling my wife when she asked me how it works, I just go, it's magic.
Yeah.
Because if I tell my wife something is magic, she just leaves it alone.
I love that, dude. That's like,
don't try and set this thing up to record all of your shows you want to watch. No. Leave it alone. It's magic.
It's magic.
My grandparents still love TiVo.
Do they?
Wow, okay.
I still love the TiVo sound effects, or at least I'm in my head I do, because I remember, because that was kind of the first one that we ever had. And we had DirecTV as a provider, and I guess by doing that, they gave us one, right? That's how we got it. So we didn't go and buy it. And anyway, but the bloop, 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 just all the sound effects were so good on that thing.
There was something that said, I am fast forwarding through the commercials.
Yeah.
So when you heard the boop, boop,
yeah, whatever.
Like, oh.
Yeah.
Now when you would hear the dong, 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 that's when you realize, like, I've run out of fast forwarding.
Exactly.
There's no more fast forwarding now. I'm live.
It would prompt you and say, hey, idiot. You've completely
stop, dude. You can't rewind or fast forward from here.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. So we still do all those things. It's just based in the cloud. It's just magic, like you said. But
it's just magic.
But that's the thing. Like,
that's a technical term.
I still don't know how to describe it. Like if I say, I guess just record it.
You have a digital subscription. Yeah. Everything is just saved digitally so it's there.
It's in the cloud.
Like I can go to Hulu right now and go and say, all right, let me go look back at the Rose Bowl from like 2018.
You can do that, really?
Well, I've got it saved in my
just
digital saving.
Got it. You got it recorded.
Yeah.
As Joe was saying, you got it recorded. You don't have it DVR'd because that became an adjective there for a little while. You have it DVR'd.
Just have it saved.
Just have it saved. Is that technical, though? Is that what people are saying, or are we just making this up as we go? Because I don't know.
A little bit of both.
Maybe a little bit of both. Okay, that makes sense.
The reason I even have Hulu, because again, there's plenty of ones that are out there, and they're all good, whether you want YouTube TV or DirecTV or Hulu, was only because they archive all the shows within 24 hours. So my wife has this endless supply of things she could watch. Like at the time, she was watching, when we got it, like This Is Us.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have it within 24 hours. So the way I convinced her that we needed to cut the cord 7 or 8 years ago and go with Hulu was that, look, if you happen to miss This Is Us, it'll be archived within 24, and you can watch every show every season. And when she saw it, she went, wow, this looks really cool. And suddenly it was done.
I love this. Da-ding.
And then we had it.
And you're all happy.
Yeah.
I came back up from the basement. I had a couple things to record down in the basement in my little studio down there. And I came up and Laura's watching Bridgerton, and I was like, oh God, that was the worst. I've said this before, but subscribing to Netflix has been the worst. I come up from downstairs, usually working in the evening, and every time she's watching a different terrible show. And this one, Bridgerton, is so bad. It's so bad.
I didn't know it was like just kind of softcore.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Good Lord. It's gratuitous for sure.
Yeah. I didn't realize the books were like that too.
There's lots of TNA, Los, everywhere. If there's one, you might walk in and be like, hey, how you doing?
So my wife sees the ads for Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And the people that I know who like Yellowstone really like Yellowstone, although I guess the past 2 seasons, they felt like it's kind of taken a turn, as every TV show does. It's just kind of what happens. But so she was telling me, maybe I should get into that show. Like, I kind of like it. Maybe I should get into that show. And I flat out told her, if you're intrigued by Yellowstone, you've completely missed out, because she's never seen one episode of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And if you want to talk about the alpha male in the room, like if you're going to watch great television, she's already seen all of Breaking Bad, which that's cool. She was into it. It's a dark place. We've watched Ozark. But she has never gone down the road of Game of Thrones. And I'm just saying, if you want to watch like the whole palace intrigue, they're coming for the crown, they won our way of life, they're coming for the ranch. Man, Game of Thrones is one to watch.
Have you seen Yellowstone too?
I've only seen like 2 episodes, and the problem I had was the dialogue from the woman that Bortz is obsessed with.
Oh, yeah, the one that plays, shoot. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'll look it up. I'll get her name.
So there's a scene where somebody kind of approaches her in a bar, and she proceeded to say just like the perfect things, right things, the whole things all the time. She's like mocking this person. And I went, nobody talks like that.
Beth Dutton.
There you go.
Played by Kelly Riley.
Yes. So Kelly Riley, Beth Dutton. There's a scene where I just went, okay, I can't suspend reality enough at that point. But that was fine. I mean, that's how the show was set up.
Yeah, we watched about 2 episodes and we were out. I just didn't care for it. I was told the one that Tim McGraw and Faith Hill are in is even better. 1883. They said that was actually really good and better than the original Yellowstone. I don't know that to be the truth because I've not seen it. But I'm
going to need a suggestion from Twitter. Like if somebody's really into Yellowstone, talk me into it. Talk me into a binge because I've just gone through my last handful of documentaries. I finished off the Hitler's henchmen, whatever, on Netflix and how they were put through trial in Nuremberg. And so I got all through 6 episodes of that. And so now I'm on to the next thing. I got no Braves game tonight. Yeah. So I've got an opportunity. There's no NBA Finals game. So I got room here for something this evening.
Yeah, there you go.
Have you watched House of Dragon?
No, I have not gotten into it yet.
It's the prequel to Game of Thrones.
And we're season 2 now?
We're about to start season 2.
Is that on Max?
In like a week or so.
See, I don't think Laura knows that exists because she loved Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones was great.
Yeah.
Season 1 of House of Dragon was better than season 1 of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I love
And Joe
House of Dragon.
Joe is really into theater. He's really into acting and like I feel like you got a good pulse on that stuff. So I believe you.
I might give it a run.
Yeah. I watched Game of Thrones with Laura a little bit and I had a hard time buying into that one. I was just like, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't care for it.
Lots of full frontal.
That's it. It's all Joe.
Maybe there was not enough full frontal for Doug.
That's right.
He's like, there wasn't enough family members having sex and making babies.
Yeah, no.
It's brother and sister.
No, I'm good.
This is weird.
Yeah, I'm just, it just didn't do it for me. It didn't do it for me. Did you see where Rob Schneider got thrown off stage? He was doing a benefit for like charity, and this is kind of off the beaten path, but it'll lead us into the next conversation. Rob Schneider, he's a conservative guy. He does a lot with Fox News, whatever. And he was on stage for a fundraiser in Canada for the Canadian, whatever their medical care system
call it geese.
Geese, we'll call
whatever.
it their Canadian geese.
Whatever it was.
We're racing that, yes. And they took him off stage. They pulled him off stage because he started going off about COVID vaccines and
nice. It's like he's like me.
That's exactly right. I thought it was so great. And they're he's talking about just craziness that is going on in the world, and they're like, no, sir, you can no longer stand up here. Our leftist government will not have people thinking out of line saying you don't need a COVID vax or you don't have to take a COVID vax. The fact that he got drawn off stage Bugs Bunny style with the like a cane. It is so great.
I had my run over the weekend, and we'll get into it next hour, but I was seeing some of the data and listening to this. There's a gentleman, Dr. Marks. He was on this podcast that I like listening to, and he talked about the staining that's been done. And the staining is that when you harvest tumors from somebody who, whether it's an active cancer case or the person has passed on, you can stain trying to check for certain chemicals. And it was referring to the work that Dr. Ryan Cole has done. You know what he found?
What's that?
The spike protein, not from COVID, but from the vaccine.
Oh, of course.
In these tumors.
Yeah.
And so we now have, here's the proof. Here's what it does. These turbo cancers, these things that we have going on. And yet, if you start telling people about it, they immediately freak out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they've been led to believe everything but. And now they're saying, well, hang on. You mean... No, you have to be the crazy person. It's
You're the nutty one. So good for Rob Schneider. He's getting yanked off a stage because he starts railing about this stuff. I love it.
And then
I got kicked off of my radio show and sent over here.
There you go, too.
I was doing pretty well with that whole thing in the podcast. I remember telling everyone, and this is an insight into how this works. So when the NFL and college football was largely like, everybody needs to get this shot. Everybody's got to take this.
Yeah.
And teams would brag about, we have 90% compliance, or they're trying to get to 100. This is like during the time when Aaron Rodgers was like, I ain't taking your shot.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm not doing this. It's what's going on.
That's when he became the pariah.
I remember telling everyone, because the only way I could say this on the air at our sister station was I said, this entire program is built on a false premise. If you get it, you won't get it, and you can't give it to anybody.
Right.
And I kept calling it a false premise. And the fact that I had coworkers looking at me like, oh, what are you talking about? Oh, what do you mean? I was like, well, you're going to get the shot and you're going to get it anyway.
Yeah, get ready.
I was like, in fact, what the numbers are going to show is the more you get shot up, the more you get it anyway.
That's right.
And the sicker you get, the more damage you do to your immune system. Yet, I was looked at like I had 3 heads. So Rob Schneider...
Like you were looked at like Rob Schneider over the weekend.
I'm sitting there like, hey, comrade... I know exactly how you feel. I was the one saying the exact same stuff. I was coming on your show.
I know, yes, that's right.
I still remember coming on your show 2 years ago and telling you, hey, Omicron's a great thing because now everybody's going to get this and it's pretty laid back and here's what it's going to do for natural immunity. And yet, then it was like, this man's speaking this craziness. I'm like, no, I'm just telling you what other doctors are saying that know what they're doing.
And then they sent you over here permanently.
I know.
They said, it was your fault you got sent here because you came on with us to begin with.
It's awesome.
It was your fault.
I'll be on this afternoon, like 3:45, doing a little bit of sports with Chuck and Chernoff. Otherwise, I come over here to tell you the truth.
That's exactly right. The Hospitals of Regina Foundation, which they raised $350,000 by Rob Schneider being there, they issued an apology. They're sorry that he was talking about, COVID vax and rules that should or shouldn't be in place and mandates that should or shouldn't be in place.
Well, they're broken as much as Chelsea Handler's broken.
No, that's exactly right, which is where I was going next.
By all means, I'm excited about this.
And it was funny because a friend of mine the other day, it had nothing to do with this story that Chelsea's talking about. He was like, who was it that was on this roast of Tom Brady? He's like a blonde comedian. I was like, Chelsea Handler, the idiot? And he was like, no, I don't think it's her. But no. He was like, is she an idiot? And I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, she's an idiot. She's a complete buffoon. And then we never got to the conversation he was trying to, because we started talking about Chelsea Handler. Well, Chelsea, you got something?
Well, I'm just saying that Chelsea, this woman who's been in the past, pretty fun to listen to, good comedian, something broke in the last several years.
No question.
Because one of her big things that she has pointed out is that, hey, listen, I'm an older woman and I'm without children and I'm empowered by it.
And I'm going to go topless in the snow.
And everybody looks at her and says, you seem kind of sad.
Yeah. I want you to hear what she said. I could give you the quote, but I would just rather let you hear her.
And I had to remind him that he was a black person, so he can't vote for Donald Trump, and that he shouldn't be influencing an entire swath of people who may listen to him because he's worried about his own personal pocketbook.
Okay, so
that was on 50 Cent.
She's talking about 50 Cent. That's exactly right.
How he, because he's black, can't vote for Donald Trump.
I had to remind him.
She's established that as the middle-aged white woman, she gets to tell black people what they should be doing.
I had to remind him he's a black person and can't vote for Donald Trump. Chelsea Handler talking about 50 Cent. I mean, the audacity. I mean, that's some balls for a lady.
What do I always tell you about liberal white women? I'm not the danger. All right? Tug is not the danger. Rhino's not the danger. The cat lady's the danger. But she's the one who feels more than comfortable telling everybody what they should think, including people that she has nothing to do. Do you think Chelsea Handler has ever been a black rapper?
No. No. But the crazy thing is, she don't come off as a crazy cat lady if you're keeping up with what she does. Like, you're talking about, like, she's like, I'm going to take my top off. I don't care if I'm 50 plus. I'm going to show off my boobs and go down to
check it out. I ain't got no kids and I'm empowered by it. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Whatever. But she doesn't come off as a woman that sits in the house with 40 cats. She doesn't come off that way. Yet it's the same mentality.
It is.
There's no escaping it. She has whatever that disease is.
Whenever
that mind worm.
The camera does not show it. Guarantee there's a whole lot of feline paraphernalia around that house.
Oh, probably. You would have to think.
There's going to be so many cats there.
Yeah.
And she is the first person, I guarantee, if we were to look into it, she's going to tell you everything she thinks about climate change.
Oh, sure.
She's going to tell you everything about immigration and how the economy's great. She is one of those she's perfect for this administration because she's going to tout the exact things that they tell her to. She's going to take her programming on a daily basis and then espouse everything that they tell her to.
I just can't imagine telling anybody what to think. I don't care who it is. I don't care. I don't tell Joe what to think. I don't tell my wife what to think. Now, I say, hey, here's what I think.
Here's what I think.
And you can take with it and do anything. You can dismiss it, or you can say, man, I'm going to think about this with you for a little while. But I'm never going to say, hey, dude, you can't do this. You are not allowed to do this. But like, well, wait a minute. That flag right over there with all the stars and stripes says I can.
I have long said this from being over in the sports field. There were times where you would have guys that would start yelling at each other over who should be starting at quarterback or something stupid. Who's the best center in Lakers history? It's always something stupid, right? And the fact is, my point was always, you being louder doesn't make your point better. It doesn't.
No, of course not.
And so
but that works so often.
But I've looked at it as, yes, there's times when I'm going to emphasize a point and I might get a little bit loud about it. That's just kind of part of it. But I've always found that when it comes to discussion, when it comes to debate, I don't have to be loud. I'm going to be logical, and that's what's going to make them crazy. And so when you see how this is all playing out, where, all right, who's going to be the loudest person? They're going to win. No, it's not. In the arena of ideas, our ideas have always worked really well for the common people in America. We just have to talk about them.
I would love to know what 50 Cent thinks about this, because that's the insight that I'm looking for. I would love to hear his response, because didn't they date for a while?
They dated for a long time. They're still friends, I think.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I would love to know what he thinks, because there's a reason he ain't dating her anymore. I mean, and this is probably part of, like, shut your mouth, man. I had no time for you. Ain't nothing I want to hear from you.
Hold on a second. You're establishing what I'm supposed to do as a black man, and that if I don't, somehow I'm not a black man any longer. This was Joe Biden's argument in 2020.
Sounds familiar. I mean, I just can't imagine telling anybody what to think about anything. But yet, there are people out there that seemingly enjoy it. All right, the 7 o'clock hour is brought to you by Van Sant Law. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your headlines for Monday, June 10th, 2024. We've had another small earthquake over in Gwinnett County near Lake Lanier. 8:30 last night. The United States Geological Survey has pointed out for the third time in a week, you had a minor earthquake over in the Lake Lanier area. This one coming at 8:30 last night, a 2.0. That does follow up the 2.7 and 1.5 that occurred last week. Brave star Ronald Acuna Jr. has undergone successful ACL surgery. He had that taken care of. He has now been moved to the 60-day DL, where he will spend the rest of his time there before making his way back next season. The Georgia Bulldogs, they have an opportunity with a third game to reach Omaha. They will once again take on NC State. Winner moves on to the College World Series. That game is set for just after 6 o'clock. You can check it out on ESPN+. And the Braves are off today. They will open up a 3-game series in Baltimore against the Orioles starting tomorrow.
If college baseball was cancer, my family would be dead, because we have
you're all over it,
dude. We have consumed so much college baseball. We love college baseball. Obviously, my son plays college baseball, but we loved it before that. Man, we've always been eat up with it. And the Florida Clemson game yesterday was great. The Georgia game, got out of hand early, but they'd gotten their tail kicked
the day before.
So today is going to be interesting to see. I guess this evening, as you said, 7, right? 7 o'clock.
Let's see. It's just after. I think
it's 7 o'clock.
Okay,
7 o'clock.
I believe. Yeah, just after 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and
it's like a 7:05 start time.
Seeing Foley Field and that embankment going up to all those frat houses just being slammed full of people is so cool. I love it. And I tell you, y'all may think this is blasphemy, but I like college baseball better than I like MLB. Just like I like college sports altogether better than I like the NBA or the NFL.
You're weird.
I just like college sports better.
But that's okay. I'll accept you.
That's right. Look, it's just one of the many things.
I think you should like the MLB better.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Chelsea, thank you.
I'm about to go watch 13-year-old volleyball for the better part of 10 days, so yeah.
Well, let me tell you, that's fun too. I'm telling you, those girls play at such a high level. It is so cool to see 13-year-old girls playing at the level that your daughter plays, because it's not like anything that you would expect out of 13-year-olds. They just play such high-level sports that it is so entertaining to watch.
They're so loud.
Yes.
They're so angry.
I'm telling you, man. I went in there at A5 to watch that time, and my ears were pierced. It was so loud.
They ended up putting sound dampeners throughout that entire building because it was so loud that day.
I'm telling you, man. It's so crazy, but cool at the same time. All right, when we come back, The only way to truly kill off an ideology is the subject of story time. With Front Office Los next on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Tax season can be stressful, but it's also a wake-up call. It's time to think beyond April and plan for your future. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we're not just advisors, we're your partners in building a secure retirement. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we understand the challenges Georgians face. That's why we offer personalized strategies to maximize your retirement income, minimize taxes, and ensure you never outlive your assets. Join the Master Plan family and let us guide you through every financial milestone. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your appointment today. Master Plan Retirement Consultants, where your journey and destination are both important. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Are we really getting a divorce?
How do we split up the family?
Who gets the kids in the house?
And who gets Milo?
Getting a divorce can be stressful. You have so many questions. At Hobson & Hobson, their experienced attorneys can help you through this difficult time. Their team of litigators will be there every step of the way to help you start your next chapter. And once you cross this bridge, even Milo will be happier. Set up your consultation today at areyoubravenough.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but at A Second Chance Bail Bonds, we believe everyone deserves a second chance. That's the driving force behind everything we do. If you or a loved one has been arrested across town or across the country, you need help now. A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast with bondsmen throughout Atlanta to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPsETC.com.
As an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, the Warrior Alliance connects warriors and their families to free services such as health and wellness, housing, employment, education, legal services, and so much more. We need your financial support to increase our impact and change thousands of lives for those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. It takes more than just thank you for your service. Make a donation to help warriors navigate to success after service. Go to thewarrioralliance.org/donate and make a difference today.
The future of business in Georgia is bright, and Georgia Power is a driving force behind the businesses and organizations that are vital to the growth of the state. Organizations like Georgia Tech.
Jay, why don't you tell us about the Fanning Center, named after Southern Company CEO Tom Fanning?
It's an over $85 million project, fully funded by our donors and supporters of Georgia Tech Athletics. Certainly would be remiss without thanking Tom and all his generosity that made that building possible. It'll feature everything from a dedicated sports science center, which will make us best in class in motion capture, injury prevention, injury recovery. There's a huge focus on strength and conditioning and integration with sports technology. There's also space for sports medicine, recovery, mental health, which is a big focus for us in taking care of our student athletes. And then a big footprint for our football program, from offices to team spaces, meeting rooms, etc. That'll be best in class.
To learn more about how Georgia Power is helping businesses big and small, visit georgiapower.com and tune in all year to discover how they're powering the future of Georgia.
Are you concerned about securing your family's future and assets? Look no further than Nelson Elder Care Law. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we offer absolute assurance and peace of mind through our comprehensive asset protection services. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com to explore how we can safeguard your legacy and provide tailored solutions for your family's well-being.
A beach trip turned car breakdown is a drag, man. You and your family jamming to the tunes, feeling the groove, then bam, your car's dead. Major bummer, man. Vacation vibe, dead. Seriously, summer can be brutal to your air conditioning, your radiator, your electrical components of your car. An AC compressor can cost over $900. Condenser can be $800. So shield yourself from the expensive car repairs. Car shield yourself like I have with all of my ranch trucks. CarShield gets its A rating from the Better Business Bureau by doing just what they say they're going to do. Their experienced phone representatives will answer your questions and set you up with an affordable plan that fits your financial needs. Ask them about services like 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, and rental car options. If your car is 20 years old or newer, call 800-227-6100. Get 20% off. 800-227-6100 or visit carshield.com/bet.
It took 100 years, but finally there's a conservative voice you can trust. Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Doug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Well, I was having a mind-blowing conversation.
That's because it's going around, man.
But and we won't mention the names to protect the innocent unless you just choose to say who it is.
It's our former co-worker, Brian Hoyt, who is no longer with the radio station, but still takes part in...
Yeah, man, comes out. Hangs out. So much fun. You've been buds with him for years and years and years.
Him and I are trying to figure out when we're going to podcast again, which is always a little bit of a challenge.
Right. Yeah.
But he's on the Ozempic.
Yeah, and that's the...
and he's dropped 30 pounds.
Which is fantastic. If you hear it, you're like, oh my gosh, that's
good for you.
And it sounds so good, and so many people are doing it, more than I even realized.
And he was talking about how the first round when he got it, he was like, yeah, we spent $1,000. It's like him and his wife. What I didn't realize is that like a typical schedule is 4 times a month. Now he's on 3 times a month. So...
And is that a financial decision, or is that a I don't want to jab myself anymore decision?
I don't know. Just that's what he said.
Okay,
that he's been spending $3,000 for himself, $3,000 a month, and has done it over 3 months.
And wife is doing it too, so that's double.
Now they're very comfortable.
Yeah,
so that's not crazy.
But
at the same time, if I told you could drop 30 pounds, it's going to cost you $9,000.
And once you stop with the
Ozempic,
injections,
right?
It comes right back.
And he's not the only person in the building. There's other people in the building doing this stuff. And I always worry about what it does to your insides because it can cause some gastrointestinal issues. And I'm big on gut health.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I get it. Dieting sucks. Changing your lifestyle sucks. All that stuff sucks. Okay, it does. It sucks.
But you did it.
For 4 years, I've been doing this sort of vegan crazy thing. Like yesterday, I was making pizzas. Here's a vegan pizza. Here's a regular pizza for the kids. Once you make that change, you make the change, and then it's like if I wanted to, I could very easily be like, here, I'm going to drop 3 pounds over doing this and just dietarily change something. I'll cut something out. I just have a hard time thinking what it's like to plug yourself in the stomach with a needle on a regular basis.
No, thank you, dude. That sounds awful. And I'm not scared of needles. Shots don't bother me.
Because you don't want to leave donuts alone.
I would just try to. And look, I'm in no, I guess no place to talk. I'm not in super shape or anything.
I can't wait for you to get on Ozempic.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely never getting on Ozempic.
Tug starts plugging himself to the point where he looks all...
His face starts melting.
Yeah.
Isn't that the thing? They have like the droopy face thing?
Yes. Did you all see that one of like the Kardashians' husbands was on Ozempic and he gained a bunch of weight because he drank 20 ginger ales a day because he didn't know they were soda?
Okay, that's funny.
I told you they're white trash. I mean, how do you not know?
I have been debating because you hear about the power of doing a cleanse and what it does for the immune system.
Yeah, how do you finish your thought and then I'll ask you about it.
Well, because the idea is that you're basically rebooting the immune system and getting rid of your body naturally kind of has a reset button. And if you do a 3 to 5 day cleanse, it basically gets rid of some of the cells that are not, I would say, at full strength.
Yeah.
And you then go into the process by which the body goes, all right, we've rebooted. Now we have our stronger cells. Like people that are fighting cancer, it's a sort of thing that you might want to consider doing.
Yeah. I want to do it, and I'm not fighting cancer. I just want to do it because I think it would be good for my own gut. You know what I mean? But I don't know how. Do y'all know how to do a cleanse? I don't know.
Coffee, water, tea, and you're basically spending 36 hours,
just drinking coffee, water, tea.
Again, a regular tea, black coffee, water, and that's all you're basically consuming.
Good Lord.
To curtail your hunger.
Wow.
There are like specialized juices you can do
You
that
can
are
do that
for
too,
them.
yeah.
Okay.
My mom has done them.
Wow, what's that one?
She feels a lot better after.
It's based here in town.
Arden's Garden.
Arden's Gardens, yes.
Yeah.
They're based out of Atlanta.
But that's the idea of a cleanse, is that the body basically resets the immune system.
Yeah.
And you're going to, obviously, if that's all you're consuming, you're also going to drop some weight accordingly.
How long do you have to do that for? Like 3 days?
In order to get like the real benefits of it, you need to go 3-5 day. As far as that's what doctors will tell you, in order for your immune system to reset.
Nothing but water for 5 days?
Again, in order for your immune system to have the hard reset, it has to be at right around 3 days. I think I could set myself up and say, okay, 3 days. I'll do 3 days.
I don't think I could. I need to start with 1 day, like 24 hours. Let me see if I can get through 24 hours. You know what I mean? But I think I would be a mess. If I did this, I wouldn't be able to complete a sentence.
I'd start punching people.
Board Up Joe, I would say, hey, thanks for listening to Sausage Biscuit. You know what I mean? It would just come out in other ways.
Your brain stops firing correctly.
Which happens
for listening to Sausage Biscuit.
Happens to me with regularity already. So, I mean, if you took me off food for 3 days.
Rhino, you have a new name. You're now Sausage, and I'm Biscuit.
That's exactly right. Good Lord. It'd be crazy, dude. It'd be absolutely nuts. Anyway, we got to get to story time. It's brought to you by Atlanta Ramjack. Your local foundation repair experts. Ramjack is you can find Ramjack at atlantaramjack.com.
Settle in and get comfortable, folks. It's story time with Uncle Los.
Thank you, Tug.
You're welcome, buddy.
Thank you, Rhino and Absentia. Thank you, Joe Virgin River. And thank you, Ramjack.
And Los and Ozempic.
Yeah, and thank you, Ozempic, who's apparently doing magic for people around the radio station. Had no idea the amount of people that are shooting themselves up with that needle. Whatever. Okay, right. So I wanted to bring this up because I finished my documentary over the weekend. It was Nazis Evil on Trial. And it was a 6-part documentary. It's on Netflix. A lot of it you know, but what it follows is the Nuremberg trial, with look back at different time periods in history, starting in basically 1918, where the origins of the Nazi culture really began during World War I. And obviously, Adolf Hitler plays a big part in that, of course, as the leader, as the Fuhrer. But when you start to see this ideology come to fruition within that party and what their plans were for world domination and to get rid of all the Jews in Europe and all the horrible things you know about Nazism. But I'd also point out that the German people as a whole, many of them did not know about what was going on.
Yeah.
Many of them just were not aware. They were just, we're at war, here's what it is. Now, they supported the party. There was a fervor for what the leadership was doing and bringing Germany back from World War I. But they didn't know about concentration camps. They didn't know about some of the evil that was going on. And in part because Nazi propaganda was so strong that they would make it a point to not know. For instance, when they had their killing squads that would go around and round up people and shoot them, they recognized this is detrimental to the health of our soldiers. We can't do this. They would give them alcohol before and after. Yeah. That is where the gassing of people in that program began, because they realized that the human psyche cannot handle flat out murder. Okay, so that's why the German people weren't going to know about it either. Yeah. They didn't want to offend them.
Keep them from it. Yeah.
So I draw that line of delineation to understand that level of evil where we all recognize it and say that's what that regime was. All right, but the people didn't know. Fast forward to over the weekend when the IDF had an operation and saved 4 hostages that you had over in Gaza. And first off, Still find the BBC question really, really funny about asking the person, shouldn't they have let them know ahead of time? And the BBC person who was being interviewed is like, no, it was an operation to save hostages. We don't inform them ahead of time.
So we need to bring that. We need to bring that back in the show because we didn't get to it last hour.
Still just a comedic piece of audio. But the reason why I bring this up is because the hostages that were rescued were being held in the home of a doctor and an Al Jazeera reporter.
Who has links to Seattle, Washington.
Right. And so when I talk about fervor and I talk about Nazism and what they, again, Nuremberg was about hacking it off the top. It was about this party, this is their views, this is how we're going to punish them, this is what we're going to deal with it. And oh, by the way, we're doing Nuremberg so we can tell the rest of the world what they were involved in, including the German people, because the German people were like, we weren't involved in that.
Yeah,
like,
kept in the dark.
There was none of this stuff. The difference in today, when you have evil in the world, for everyone who's like, the Palestinians, look what they're doing in Gaza. What I'm telling you is they're in on it. As much as the top rank of Hamas is in on it. To think that your hostages weren't being held in some government compound or some hole in the ground. They were being moved around between regular civilian Palestinians that are as much into terrorism as the height of Hamas. This, and it sounds horrible, but ideology, we can go back to 1946. Ideology in the Nuremberg courtroom was we're lopping the head off of the Nazis, and then we can move forward from there. What do you do when it's the entire society?
And the crazy, I was just reading this weekend, I'm trying to find the story of one woman who was rescued, one of the four, and she was kept in someone's house.
Yes, and made to clean the house whenever they told them to.
Exactly right. You clean up after us.
She was a slave.
That's right.
Okay? Now this is not Hamas leadership. This is not.
This was just an uppity
masterminds.
family.
This was just a well-to-do family that were more than comfortable with having an Israeli slave and a hostage.
And they would move her from house to house. They would dress her in traditional Muslim garb and move her house to house and have her clean other houses too. And then that's where the whole reporter that has links to Seattle comes in, because he had somebody at his house as well.
So when you have these crazy stories, and it'll always be on the other side, oh my God, look at what the IDF is doing to Hamas. Look at what they're doing to the Palestinians. It's awful. Keep in mind, and this is going to be hard for some people to hear, but this is the truth. The Israelis have largely kept the Palestinians in their own kind of prison country because nobody else in the region wants them.
Including the Egyptians.
Everybody looks at the Palestinians, and it's always the same thing. If you have too many of them in your country, they try and take your country over. Because for some reason, these people, and this goes back to the days of British rule, where terrorism ended up winning the day. It really did. The Israelis, the current day Israelis, they were using terrorism to get the British out of that area. And they largely had a pretty good relationship with the Palestinians. Once everything went to hell, and that's where it is now, you now have an ideology throughout the entirety of the culture. It's not just Hamas, it's the entirety of the culture, where they don't believe these people that they live next to are human. And so if I'm telling you about Nazi culture and what we did in Nuremberg in 1946, if you didn't see these people as human, so we got to get rid of you. What do you do when the entirety of a culture that is the Palestinians don't view the Israelis as human?
And to piggyback that, the things that were happening in D.C. this weekend with the pro-Hamas protests where they were spray painting, all the monuments in D.C. and then just outside the White House. And we have audio. I don't know if we have it available right now, but we have audio of these protesters that are saying, kill Jews, kill Israeli soldiers. And like that was their chant. So it goes right back to what you're saying.
The only thing you can do is try and wipe out an ideology, is to wipe out everybody who has it. Okay? Like, that's what we did to Nazi Germany. That's what we did to Imperial Japan. We said, oh, y'all think that he's a god? Okay, well,
let us show you he's not.
Let us show you he's not.
Yeah.
Let us show you that person's actually pretty human, and we're going to go ahead and figure out a different culture rather than your warrior culture. You have to smash ideology. You can't talk it out of them. You can't train it out of them. I mean, the other side, the communists think, well, let's just send you to a camp and then we'll teach it out of you. Okay, they've just thought it that way. We don't do that. So what do? You got to smash it out of these people.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. When we come back, a pediatrician is putting all the medical associations on blast for pushing the child trans movement. We'll let you hear from her next on Extra 106.3. After we're done, the Glenn Beck program, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, and the local afternoon show with the Kimmer 3 until 6.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Pete, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Really, what in the hell was I thinking? A couple of months ago, I was not sure I could vote for Donald Trump. But when you really look closely at Joe Biden and what he's done to our economy and what he's done to our country, if it has to be Trump, that's a better choice. Let's not make this mistake.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Atlanta, it's Front Office Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and let's talk about Ventrac tractors. Not everyone has a need for a Ventrac. I get that, okay? But for those of you who do, you need to check out the Ventrac over at Howard Brothers. Ventrac is the ultimate versatile compact tractor. All right, property managers, golf course managers, you know what you can get when it comes to that Ventrac, how it protects the turf better than anything else. Municipal and public users, you know how well that Ventrac works, that it's always going to be a safer option, and you get all the benefits. It can mow in wet conditions. It can handle any of the steep slopes, heavy brush mowing, and much, much more. That Ventrac is always ready for that. Georgia, get your Ventrac over at Howard Brothers. The grass, and if you happen to need a tractor because you got a ton of it, is always greener when you take care of it with Ventrac and with Howard Brothers.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. Well, at RBM of Atlanta, we embody this philosophy. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for the required service. With over 100 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. We'll work around your schedule. We're here to save you time, energy, and money. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2023 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience and Georgia's only 9-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best winner. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor for details.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Ownwell. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ownwell.com/terms. Estimate based on your neighborhood average and individual results may vary.
Here in Atlanta, we've got history, good food, sky view, and outrageous sky-high property taxes. Sometimes with a bill 5 times higher than other Georgia counties. But luckily, there's Ownwell. Ownwell can appeal and reduce your property taxes and potentially save you thousands of dollars.
And right now, you can sign up for free by texting LEARN to 64,000.
You don't have to be an expert to save thousands of dollars every year, because Ownwell's cutting-edge technology and local tax experts do all the legwork for you. And you only pay if you save. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the view.
Sign up now. Free. Don't pay unless you save. Text LEARN to 64,000. Text LEARN to 64,000. Text LEARN to 64,000.
Hey there, Atlanta sports fans. Home team Brandon Leak here with Sonder Health Plans. You know, I've been singing praises about their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans, and now they're stepping up their game with new health plans that include home safety and accessibility modifications. Call them up right now and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Millions
of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Donald Trump convicted.
Stuffing a misdemeanor into a felony charge. Tell me what the second crime was.
Extra 1063 is bringing you the conservative voices you need during this unprecedented time in America.
This must be the most divisive nation in the world.
Extra 1063 and the Extra app.
Even my own son, who's about to turn 20, has those things that are going on in his life that he just doesn't understand, and he's trying to figure it out. Sometimes it's girls, sometimes it's school, sometimes it's just life in general. And it's just the lack of experience that he doesn't have. And I see the innocence in some of his questions when he comes to me and asks them. And I'm like, bud, this is, I promise you, man, this
Dad,
is
where do babies come from?
Yeah, that's right. I had to answer that when he was 8. We were headed home from baseball practice, and he was like, Dad, can I ask you a question? I was like, yes, sir, you can. What is it? And he laid it out there, and I was like, oh, buddy, here we go. And we had that discussion on the way home from practice, and my wife was sitting in the passenger seat, and he was in the back seat, and it was the most awkward, but I played it deadpan. There was no joking. I just laid it all out. Here's what it is. Here's how it happens. And he was like, can we talk about something else? And I was like, yep, but if you have any other questions, let me know. And then a few practices later, a few months later, we had to stop and get a couple of items from my wife. You could probably fill in the blank as what that might be. And we're standing there in aisle 7 looking for the picture that my wife had sent me. And he was like, what are we getting again? And I laid it out, the whole menstrual cycle, just right there on aisle 7. And he was like, oh, God, can we talk about something else? And I was like, yeah. But if you need to know the truth, you come to me and I'll always tell you the truth. Kids are innocent by nature. They don't have life experience to make life-changing, life-altering decisions. There's a reason we don't let kids drive at 10. We don't let them drive at 12. We don't let them get tattoos at 15 because you're just not to that point where you can make a good decision and won't regret it later. There is a doctor named Dr. Jill Simmons, and she is with the American College of Pediatrics. I want you to hear this statement that she released in the American College of Pediatrics. She called out the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Endocrine Society, the Pediatric Endocrine Society, American Medical Association, American Psychological Association, and the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. Called them all out and said, you must immediately stop the promotion of social affirming puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries for children and adolescents who have experienced distress over their biological sex.
And we have serious concerns about the physical and mental health effects of the current protocols promoted for the care of children and adolescents in the United States who express discomfort with their biological sex. This declaration was authored by the American College of Pediatricians, but really it was developed from the expertise of hundreds of doctors, researchers, and other healthcare workers and leaders who, for years, have been sounding the alarm on the harmful protocols that continue to be promoted by the medical organizations in the United States. Despite recent revelations from the leaked WPATH files and the recent release of the final report from the CAS review, these medical organizations have not changed course. So we are calling on these children's medical organizations of the United States, including the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Endocrine Society, the Pediatric Endocrine Society, the American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association, and the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry to follow the science and their European colleagues and immediately stop the promotion of social affirmation, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries for children and adolescents who experience distress over their biological sex.
It is about time that somebody had the courage to say what needed to be said. These other organizations are bought and paid for. There's no doubt. There's no other reason that you would do this to a child, knowing the innocence and the inexperience of a child, to make a life-changing decision at 8, at 10, at 15, at 18, at 20. It is unbelievable, and I would say evil, for someone to value dollar bills over the well-being of someone that is in their care.
When we talked about the origins of how things change when it comes to money, if this one dries up a little bit, then the money moves somewhere else, and this is how we're going to make our money over here. Remember, we talked about when Roe versus Wade got kicked back to the states, and some states who already had laws on the books where if it ever comes back to the states, here's what's going to happen, here's where our restrictions are going to be. That caused a big panic in the medical field as far as people that were doing that work. And what did they do? They shifted over to this sort of care, is what they're like to call
Planned
it.
Parenthood. They were one of them.
This is
one of the majors.
We talked about it was Matt Walsh who ended up breaking it down, what Vanderbilt University, what their university hospital system was doing.
Which they stopped after they got caught, after the spotlight was put on them.
They went from the abortion care aspect to suddenly trans sex care. And they realized that it was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars per patient. And so when it got illuminated, then it ended. They were like, okay, we're not going to be able to, this is not what we're going to do. But that money is just shifted. It's just gone from attacking your baby to now attacking your youngster and trying to say, well, why don't we do this for them because that's the new cash cow.
They're always targeting your children. Always. And you have to be so diligent about it. And you have to be active and proactive. And I understand you got to work and there's all these things, but if you are not dialed into what your kid's doing, somebody else is.
Man, they are always after them. If 2020 was very enlightening of what happened when my kids stayed home from school, basically school's on lockdown. The way the groomers went after them so incredibly hard.
And still continue
It took time to recognize it and then to attack it ourselves.
But then they have people that defend it. That's the crazy part to me. That you would have somebody that's sick enough to defend this chaos, this craziness.
Our 36-hour cleanse is coming up, by the way.
Okay, all right. What day are we going to start?
It's going to go from Monday evening until Wednesday morning.
Oh, my God, Les. I might fall out. I mean, I could.
You can do this.
I'm gonna. Okay.
I didn't consider doing this. Now I'm going to do it just because I'm going to get you to do it.
The Nashville shooter was exactly who we thought she was. That discussion after a Neil Bortz report in the Fox News update on Xtra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
I'm trying, my friends, I'm trying really hard to live up to the precepts of that wonderful book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Flip. I'm retired. There's not too many things I want to give a flip about. Family's at the top of the list. But this presidential election is forcing me. Darn it. If not for your children and grandchildren, it might be easy to sit back and be amused and just not care. But this presidential election is unlike any other. Two extremely flawed candidates. But in a country of 350 or so million people, you're going to be able to come up with two extremely flawed candidates sooner or later, but not at the same time, please. So I'm going to have to care about the election a little bit, if for no other reason, my granddaughter. And in so doing, I just simply cannot understand why a sane and rational person would put Joe Biden back in office. Look what's going on around the world. China, Iran, Russia, upcoming military maneuvers in the Caribbean. Russian nuclear submarine docked 90 miles from Florida. Would Trump be allowing this? I think there'd be a pretty strong response. China rattling its sabers against Taiwan and moving on with its plans for complete control of the South China Sea. Then there's Iran. If they're not already there, they're really close to developing a couple of nuclear weapons. Joe Biden says, don't say anything about it. It'll irritate them. Just let it go. Be quiet. A president running for re-election. And one more thing. Private schooling is on the rise. That would end if Joe Biden were re-elected. I'm not your guru of not giving a flip, but a lot of us need to be paying a lot more attention. Neil Bortz, Xtra 106.3.
Get ready for unfiltered conversations on The Janelle King Show, where we tackle the topics that you won't hear at your family gatherings, but they're absolutely crucial for a strong republic. Don't miss us live every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Xtra 106.3. But if you can't tune in, that's okay. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you prefer to get your podcast. Join us for these discussions, and I can't wait to meet you there.
Your Atlanta Braves are wanted in Texas this summer for the 2024 MLB All-Star Game. All fans who vote for the Atlanta Braves as their favorite club will receive an offer for 20% off 4 tickets to a game at Truist Park from June 14th through the 30th in select locations. Make sure the Braves take over Texas for the Midsummer Classic. Visit Braves.com/vote to cast your ballot for Marcell Ozuna, Matt Olson, and all your favorite Braves. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Xtra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
When the iPhone came out, all of a sudden the internet and YouTube and Facebook and Google, everything is right there. You have an international space station satellite in your pocket. And now, every time, look at all the people. Every time you walk in the street, you walk in the mall, anywhere you go, their heads are in their phone, seeing what's going on, who's saying what, and now, I can't believe this, and off they go. It's none of your bit, doesn't matter.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Will he testify? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That is the big question for Hunter Biden as the president's son returns to court this hour at his federal gun trial in Wilmington, Delaware. If he does not,
we could get into closing arguments and jury deliberations by this afternoon. If Hunter does testify, prosecutors have indicated they may put on rebuttal witnesses. That would extend this trial further.
Fox's Rich Edson outside the court.
Prosecutors built their case using text messages, bank records, including his ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, sister-in-law, who he was in a relationship with, to paint a picture of rampant drug use when he purchased and possessed that firearm and allegedly swore on a form that he was not a drug user.
After former President Trump was convicted in New York last month, he has to meet with a probation officer today ahead of next month's sentencing. He'll do it virtually from his Florida resort the day after a Trump rally where he called it a fake case.
We're screwed up as a country, and we're going to unscrew it very quickly. It's going to take place very quickly.
The former president in Nevada after days of big fundraisers out west.
People are saying to themselves, were we better off 4 years ago, or are we better off now? And it wasn't even close.
He made news at the rally by saying he won't charge taxes on tips, which is a major source of income for the massive service industry in Las Vegas. The culinary union, which represents the 60,000 hospitality workers, says relief is needed, but that Nevada workers know the difference between real solutions and wild campaign promises.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back in Egypt, still trying to stop the war in Gaza.
The ceasefire proposal unveiled by President Joe Biden hangs in the balance, with no formal response yet from Hamas. Israel's rescue of 4 hostages over the weekend and accompanying loss of a reported 274 Palestinian lives may have complicated things.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. Blinken will later meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel after 2 war cabinet members resigned. America's listening.
Go with your gut. Your dog's immune system is based in the gut. A diet lacking in nutrients can cause itching, scratching, and a weak immune system. However, there is a solution. DINOVITE. Dinovite.
It took a grand total of 2 weeks. The dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Try Dinovite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dinovite.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Start your day with live and local conservative talk with Tug, Rhino, and Carlos Medina on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
We're going to do a cleanse on the show. And that starts this evening after dinner, right? That's the way we're doing this? That's the way we're playing this?
I kind of feel like it's a fun challenge because, again, I'm off as of Wednesday morning.
Fun.
So the idea of doing 36 hours... Yeah, it kind of sounds like a fun challenge.
It doesn't sound fun. I'm going to go on record saying it doesn't sound fun. I'm willing to do it because I think it's good for you. I think it's probably something that it's, will reset your metabolism or something. And
reset your immune system.
Or something. Yes. All those things. And so if you've got questions or concerns about this, 404-741-1230, maybe advice, guidance, maybe you've done a cleanse before, I've never. I don't think I have.
I don't eat a whole lot to start with, so the whole idea of supplementing just water for 36 hours.
Yeah.
Because by the time I have the meal this evening, then I have to go basically all the way through Tuesday until Wednesday morning. I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah. See, I've never tried it, never attempted it, and I have a hearty appetite.
And if you're telling me that I'm going to be, because Wednesday's different. Wednesday is going to be first day in Orlando.
Yeah.
Get together with the parents. That typically turns into, hey, let's go hang out the bar and do some drinking.
So you'll be back on.
So, at that point, I can just go right back on.
What do y'all do when you're traveling? Because I know it's a little more difficult to find. Do you plan your meals?
We do some more
take
meal
it with
prep,
you?
yeah.
Just meal
But
prep.
it's also, too, because of the places we've gone. We go to Orlando twice a year as of now.
You probably
and so we know, we've got the handful of areas that we know we can go to and grab stuff from.
Yeah, and to get a vegan meal. And something that works with your appetite and your diet.
I just remember being in Minneapolis last year and being so incredibly intoxicated that I ordered a vegan meatball sub, and when it got there, I took a bite out of the middle first. And that was the moment where my wife was like, I think I better take him to bed.
Just crazy man eating.
Yes.
I love it.
And one of the dads from his daughter is on an older team. She's on a 14s team. We're the 13s team. He still to this day is like, that's when I knew you were pretty drunk.
Yeah, right.
It's like you grabbed your sandwich, you bit the middle of it. And I'm like, thank you for remembering that.
That's right. If you can remember anything about me.
My wife put me to bed. She was like, all the rest of the parents can now hang out for a while. You have to. I'm like, but I started. What was so bad about that? We had a handful of stressful matches that were coming up.
Yeah.
So me and a friend of mine went to the bar before the matches. We each put together like $100 bar tab.
Oh, attaboy.
Then after the girls went 3-0, we went back and then put like another $100 tab together.
Buddy.
So by that time, that's when
you were set up.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It was strong.
I would pay to see that. That'd be so awesome.
It was Mafra French fries moment.
All right, well, okay.
That's exactly what it was.
Cameron just pops in.
The next morning I popped up and I was I was like, man, I feel great. And it was like, because we put you to bed at like 7:30.
That's right. Do I need to apologize to anybody?
Like, no, just your sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
You bit the middle of it.
Right. That's what I always do. Anytime there's those days when you probably had 1 or 10 too
many. Do I
many.
need to apologize to anyone?
That's the first thing I ask. Because I was like, all right, do I need to apologize to anybody? Did I say anything? Did I fall on my face?
All
Did
I was told
break anything in anyone's house?
You were a lot of fun, and then when you bit the middle of your sandwich, we all went, okay.
We've reached the point.
Do you all remember the video? And this is going back almost 20 years. You remember the video where David Hasselhoff was trying to eat a burger? And his daughter was filming him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Take a look at this. It's probably still on YouTube. David Hasselhoff is so incredibly intoxicated, and his daughter is filming him, and he's trying to eat a burger. Apparently, that's what happened with me and that sandwich.
Yes, and he didn't have a shirt on. He's wearing like jeans and no shirt.
It's like a fake meatball sub, and I'm just biting into the middle of it, and I'm trying to consume it. And that was when My wife was like, "Yep, it's time to go to bed." That's about the end of that.
Hasselhoff is laying on his side, and he's
just barely talking as he's trying to eat the burger off the floor. Yeah. That's apparently what that turned into. So I was happy to be taken back to the hotel room, and I'm looking forward to a cleanse and doing that stuff again come Wednesday.
Okay, all right, good enough. The Hasselhoff thing, I had totally forgotten about that. That was my for fries because it was after a Darius Rucker show over at Ameris, and I'd had way too much. And my son was driving, and my wife was obviously caretaking, and I felt horrible the next day.
Well, the fun part was you called and left me a message, and I didn't see the message till the next day because I was traveling.
Yes, that's right.
And by the time I did, I thought it was one of the most wonderful things you've ever sent me.
and then when I didn't get you on the phone, I sent you a recorded video message. I was like, Los! You know how you always elongate everything, and when you've had too much and you just sound absolutely crazy.
The best part was, and the way he sounded, Joe, was not apologetic, but more along the lines of like, I just want you to know that I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm all good.
I'm getting fries.
I've yet to see the video.
Well,
I'm getting for fries.
We'll let you see it. It's bad, man. It's bad.
We've never played it on air.
No, he won't allow it. And I'm in agreement. If there's something you don't want to air, then it doesn't get aired.
I'd prefer not.
But it's fun to actually see it and go, okay, so that was the for fries moment.
But Joe, you can see it. Yes.
And again,
being my worst.
He's not in any way like belligerent. He's not mean. He's
not mean. No, not mean. Belligerent.
He just wanted to let you know. Well, belligerent, in my opinion, it's like when you just go, "Oh my god, I can't be around this guy."
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah,
like
I'm a pretty friendly drunk.
Like he is 3 sheets, but he wants to let you know that he's okay.
I'm all
and that's
set,
what his phone call was, to let you know I'm okay.
I'm good, man. I'm getting these for fries.
I'm taking care of him. I'm getting these for fries.
It's an appreciated update.
Yeah,
I was like, thank you.
Yeah, like this guy's in the middle of something else, and this comes in, and he's like, "What the hell?"
It's almost like the phone call of, I just want to let you know I'm safe.
I'm good, buddy.
I'm good.
I didn't even realize there
I've
was
given
a possibility.
some of those.
Yeah.
I've received some of those.
Yeah, we all have. I've probably had more than my fair share and share.
That's pretty typical when I have to travel. I have to send the wife the proof of life.
Yeah, that's right.
Me and the guys are okay. Just want to let you know.
We're good.
We're good here.
I swear we're not dead.
Why are you slurring? Because you know why. But we're back in the room, though.
I have gotten one of those calls from somebody on this show.
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay.
I was like, all right.
Just random at random you got a call?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
It was funny.
Well, there's only one person not to defend themselves, so I guess you know what it is.
Glad you called. Glad you let me know.
He was like, I got back to my room? Or I got back to my house?
No, he's just chilled in the hot tub.
Oh, he just calls you randomly while chilling in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Well, then if we're allowing that, then some point over the next couple of weeks, because I don't know if it's going to be Orlando, it might be Dallas, not sure. I'm going to make that phone call to Joe and just be like, I just want to let you know we're okay.
I'm good, man.
I want to know.
I'm back in the room. I just want to let you know.
I need my boys to be safe.
That's right. I'm demolishing this sub sandwich.
I bit
from
the middle
out.
middle out of the sub sandwich.
404-741-1230 if you got for fries or eating the sandwich from the middle.
You bit the middle of the sandwich and eat it out.
And wouldn't mind sharing with us because we'd love to get a good laugh at your expense this morning on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. More serious conversation. If y'all remember, I was in Nashville the morning of the Nashville shooting. We were leaving. It happened at like 9, and we were about an hour out of town at 10 when the first report came across the radio. We were listening to the radio on the way out of town, and they're like, there has been a shooting at a Christian school. Now we've learned that the Nashville school shooter had a violent rant. She wrote about the torture that she lived as a trans girl and how she would kill to get puberty blockers. She had that secret manifesto, and of course the FBI, the Nashville police, never would release it. There has been some stuff that has been leaked, but she wrote about, and I'm gonna. This is her words, not mine. She wrote about her imaginary penis and how she would kill to get those puberty blockers, and that was weeks before she went into Covenant School and shot, I think, 6 people altogether that perished. And how she was angry about her parents, and she hated the conservative Christian upbringing and the suffering that she'd went through because of that as a child. I mean, this manifesto, I can only imagine what's in there. If we're getting bits and pieces and this is what we're getting, can you imagine what else is in there?
The drawings alone.
Yeah.
It's a window into madness. And when we tell you that so many of these people are oftentimes dealing with mental health issues, and that is apparent when you start going through what's been published, what's been allowed to be seen. Just the writing style alone looks something almost demonish.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much hatred there of themselves and of their life, to the point where when we talked about, well, why would you attack a Christian school? Well, no surprise. We kind of had a pretty good idea why.
Yeah, because she hated Christianity. She hated the conservative parents. But I'm going to read you these lines, and remember, these are quotes from her. My penis exists in my head. I swear to God, I'm a male. Then she wrote about her desire to have sex with men, or to have sex with women, and assume the identity of Aiden. If that doesn't shout to the rooftops like something is unhinged, something is not right, I don't know what you're looking for. I don't know how you miss it.
Well,
and I don't think affirmation is the way to go here.
No, and I'm curious if her family ended up at any point looking into mental health treatment, because so much of what she is writing about screams, hey, I need to go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And there's a point where I don't want to lump everybody into, hey, it's 100%, it's always a mental health issue. But like 95% of the time it is.
Yeah.
When you go through the numbers and the amount of, to understand that we've had this like 300-fold increase in people that identify in trans, that wasn't being done 20 years ago. Wasn't being done 10 years ago. Wasn't being done 5 years ago.
No, that's right.
It's almost a culmination of, here's where the mental health is, and here's your solution to it.
And that's why I think it was so important that Dr. Jill Simmons, the cut we played from the American College of Pediatrics, that called out all of these other boards, these medical boards that are just embracing this craziness. And thus, we talk about it all the time. We're always about 6 months to a year behind Europe, and Europe is putting a halt to all of this craziness. And for good reason. They've seen that the research says all of the things that we're doing are wrong and not helping whatsoever. It's like if someone, I'm going to give you an example, and I won't go into any detail because it's super personal. A friend of mine's going through just a thing. And I reach out to that person almost daily and just say, hey, man, if you need to talk, let me know. And he never takes me up on it, but I'm hoping one day he will. And it's nothing to do with anything like the discussion we're talking about. It's in a completely different direction, but it's that same thing. If I were to just say, hey, man, what you're doing is just fine. Yeah, keep on doing that, man. Keep on doing that. Then I would not be a good friend because I know he's on a destructive path. If I were to do that, it would be wrong. And I think everybody in this room, if I were to go on air and talk about it and then say, yeah, how I encouraged him, y'all would all be like, dude, what are you doing? You're going to get your friend killed. Your friend is not going to make it. And yet, I would say the same thing needs to be done in this situation, because if you're just encouraging or ignoring
either one,
that's exactly right, Los, then you're doing the wrong thing knowing that this person needs help.
And that's where I am curious about what the family did. And not to say that somehow they could have prevented the results of 6 people dead, but did they see the warning signs? Did they see something where they said, let's get this person to go talk to someone? Because when you go through, just as long as what's been published does not indicate that there was any sort of treatment or there was any attempt to help treat. It almost sounds like this person was, and again, it's speculation, was neglected in terms of, hey, you're just going through something, just deal with it.
But
from a parental standpoint.
Yeah.
Like with your friend, if you're just like, hey, you're just dealing with something, deal with it.
Yeah, man. Be tough. Tough it up.
Tough it up. Why don't you be a man?
Yeah, right. And I would never do that because I know that the situation is dire, and it's tough. But that's the thing. So many people turn a blind eye. And let me tell you, I sent him a text the other day about getting help, and another friend of mine, dear friend, who has been an alcoholic for 25 or 30 years and has been in recovery, and he leads AA groups. He helps people celebrate sobriety. He is the strongest dude that I've ever met when it comes to that stuff. He I mean, he is so dedicated to what he does and his sobriety. I'm talking meditates every morning, spiritual, very spiritual, reads the good book every morning, and stays on the right path. It's unbelievable. I'm so proud of him. I reached out to him about my other friend and just said, hey, man, I'm afraid I'm going to get the worst call ever. What do I say? How do I encourage him to maybe seek help? And he helped me craft this text message that I sent. And I went back and forth. I even had to get my wife to give me the courage to send it because I knew how it was going to be received.
Sure. There's always going to be, sometimes there's a backlash.
Yeah, right. I'm going to block you on social media. I'm going to block your phone number from my phone. I was afraid of that happening, and I know it had already happened to a couple other people that care too. And thankfully it didn't happen, but the point being is, like with those parents you're talking about, it took me the better part of an hour. I mean, I typed it out, copied, pasted, cut it out. I can't do it. I know what the backlash is going to be. I know what the reaction is going to be. And I said to my wife, I was like, how do I know if I'm doing the right thing? She was like, does your heart tell you need to do it? And the answer was yes. And finally, I just put it in there, pasted it, and sent it.
Well, what's the answer when you don't do it?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where you have to ask the question when it comes to this Nashville shooter. What did you not do? Or what did you do? Mm-hmm. What did you try? Because clearly this person was struggling with this for quite a while. This doesn't sound like they had a tough year. I mean, they talk about going through years of wanting these puberty blockers and wanting this and trying to get themselves to a point where they felt comfortable with themselves. And their final solution to this was to lash out and kill. Like that's a level of madness that if you at least had tried at some point to, I mean, maybe you have to, we don't really have like institutions anymore.
No, that's right.
But these are the sort of people that need this sort of medical help. Get them in front of somebody.
She added in her leaked part of her journal, I hate parental views, how my mom sees me as a daughter. And she'd not bear to want to lose that daughter because a son would be the death of Audrey, meaning her alter ego, her biological sex.
Well, think about it, how she's bringing up the concept of dead naming.
Yeah.
It's like, first off, that automatically normally sends off some red flags that, wait a minute, we've got some mental health stuff going on here.
No doubt, man.
And why? We continue to always point out how you have these people that are, and typically the media doesn't want to identify them as transsexual when they commit some act of violence. And you go, why does this always keep happening to transsexual people? It's because they're dealing with mental health issues.
Should be very clear. It should be very obvious. And anybody who is encouraging is doing the wrong thing. There's no other way of putting it. Just like if I didn't reach out to my friend via text, and it took me the better part of an hour just to send that one text because I was afraid of the backlash and what the reaction would be. Scary stuff, man. So I feel for the parents. I really do, because I can only imagine the pain leading up to and then the pain that they're currently dealing with. It's unimaginable. Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3. When we come back, we'll talk about mass deportation is what the overwhelming number of Americans want. They're fed up with Biden's just broken border. Next on Xtra 106.3, we'll knock out the headlines too. This is the Morning Xtra.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Xtra 106.3. We're at XTRA 106.3 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Xtra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Xtra 106.3 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Extra 106.3 listeners are falling in love with Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell.
Me and my wife now find our favorite sandwich place. That food over there was great.
Yeah, those rolls are so soft and sweet. I mean, it was just melt in your mouth. It was, and the steak was tender and juicy and flavorful. I can't say enough about it. It was very, very impressive.
It was so good.
Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell on Woodstock Road your new favorite spot for lunch or dinner. Nucky'sHoagies.com.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
So you conquered the hardest part. You found the one, got approval from the family, shopped for the engagement ring, and you popped the question. Nice job. But you're not done. It's time to plan the wedding. Pick the dress, pick your tux, plan the honeymoon, and yes, find the perfect wedding bands. Well, you're in luck because Wedding Band Weekend is back at Solomon Brothers Jewelers. June 21st through the 23rd is the perfect time to stop in and shop all of the top brands in the industry. You'll find the ring of her dreams. And here is the best part. During Wedding Band Weekend, when you purchase her qualifying ring, you'll get your ring absolutely free. So don't miss Wedding Band Weekend, June 21st through the 23rd in Buckhead, Alpharetta, and Sharpsburg. And at Solomon Brothers, no matter the price, you'll find something nice. You can also shop online at SolomonBrothers.com and on Instagram at Solomon Brothers. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, the preferred jeweler of the Atlanta Braves.
Are you feeling trapped in a destructive marriage? Are you tired of the constant spite and resentment?
At Hobson & Hobson, we understand the struggles men face in a strained marriage. Our team of experienced attorneys are here to help you navigate the complexities of divorce and custody rights.
We'll fight for your rights and guide you through the process with integrity and strength.
Don't wait until it's too late and let a toxic marriage hold you back. Take the first step to a healthier life and visit areyoubravenough.com to see how we can help you reclaim your happiness.
Tax season can be stressful, but it's also a wake-up call. It's time to think beyond April and plan for your future. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we're not just advisors, we're your partners in building a secure retirement. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we understand the challenges Georgians face. That's why we offer personalized strategies to maximize your retirement income, minimize taxes, and ensure you never outlive your assets. Join the Master Plan family and let us guide you through every financial milestone. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your appointment today. Master Plan Retirement Consultants, where your journey and destination are both important. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
On this episode of The Real Houses of Atlanta.
Whoa, Bobby, what's going on?
Well, now that I'm the HOA president, I'm going to start cracking down on the neighborhood.
With a sledgehammer?
Oh, look, this place is looking rough, and nobody's moving right now either. So I'm telling the neighbors it's time to fix up the homes they have.
And what do you suggest?
Well, I'm telling everybody on the block about Exovations. They're right here, and they can get your house the facelift it needs. We're talking new siding, roofing, windows, doors, decks, even porches, patios, and porticos. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to start with Jim next door. Hey, Jimmy, you got a window out. Check the bylaws.
Hi, this is Candace with Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. Avoid an HOA headache and let us give your home the facelift it needs. We'll introduce you to our ExoVision, our very own architectural design that allows you to envision your home's transformation before you even start the project. Ready for your on-time, on-budget, and stress-free renovation? Visit exovations.com and book your consultation today.
Look out, it's only me. It's only the Kimmer. You know, you can download the Kimmer podcast on the Extra 106.3 app, along with a ton of other great shows. Go get it for crying out loud now on Apple or Android.
Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Listen on the Extra 106.3 app. Stream us on the Extra YouTube channel.
Let's go.
Let's go. So what happened? What happened was during the break, Los shared the video of me in a altered state of mind following a Darius Rucker show up at Ameris Bank Amphitheater, and I had to just let Los know that I was doing fine. Not that he had any concern whether I was doing fine or not. He was traveling, and I was just apparently worried that Los was worried about me, and I didn't want him to be worried.
And so you, in a very nice way, just wanted to give me an update and let me know that you're being taken care of.
Yeah.
Son's driving, wife is here.
Getting for fries.
And
McDonald's.
But that wasn't the part that ended up getting Joe.
Yeah.
It was the pause at the end, you going, let's go.
I've got nothing else to say, and I don't know how to end this.
It was a pause of like, you took in the moment. Yes. And just pure joy exuded.
Let's go.
In a squinty-eyed, let's go.
And the idea that you'd had such a fun night, a good concert. Now you're having a burger, you're there with your family, and you're safe and everything's good. And that was the moment of, let's go.
It was just waiting to exhale. That's all that was.
It was nice.
Getting out there.
It was a quality moment.
That's right. Yeah. So if you've got those moments that you have that you would like to share with us and embarrass yourself, then please, 404.
You have any drunk videos?
741-1230. You can find us on social media at Xtra1063, at Tug Coward, at Rhino Xtra1063, at Front Office Los, and at Joe Tom Virgin for Board Op Joe. So, but these are just videos that happened. We talked about Los getting a little sideways, eating his sandwich from the middle out. Yeah, that's when his wife knew it was time. You got to go.
Last year at Volleyball Nationals.
And he's upon this. You're days away from being in the same situation. Some of the same people, right, on the trip?
Yeah, Orlando and Dallas are going to be the next two trips that we're on over with our A5 volleyball team. And so we're the 9 seed for this first one out of like 45 teams. And then we'll probably be a lower seed when we're in Dallas. But regardless, it'll be fun. And the parents all get after it after we're done with this stuff, just because it's stressful and it's crazy, and it's just kind of what we do.
Isn't it crazy, though, to get so stressed out over kids' sports? Isn't it crazy that we do that to ourselves? Because we do, and everybody does.
There's just such a level of competition, and this is always talked about when you have like reviews of gyms. If you want to go to something that's a little bit more low key and that's a little bit more chill, fine, like that's available.
Yeah, it's available. Yeah.
When we joined with A5, it was 5 years ago, and we were told, well, we don't start doing cuts until 13. It's gotten so big, they started doing them at 12.
Oh, wow. They backed it off
You're
here.
like cutting 12-year-old girls out of the gym. Like we had, I think, this year, I think they cut like 200 and something girls.
Oh, wow.
And so the 60 that remained for like the 5 teams, that was a pretty big deal. But that's
intense.
Yeah. So that level of competition is always there. So yeah, every now and then you might enjoy an adult beverage.
And it doesn't change when your kid goes to college. I mean, I'm sure you saw your parents stressing out over your playing days when you played college baseball. I know my family stressed out and stays stressed out over my son's athletics. And at the college level, and he's in a wood bat league, and we're at every game, and it's almost like back to travel ball summers. Just because he's home for the summer playing here in town.
Wood bat's fun. We used to do that. City of Dallas had the same thing with the college league. We do it every summer.
So much fun, and so many of the kids that he knows that are playing ball at Georgia Southern and Kentucky and Auburn and wherever else. Georgia Tech, I think, got a Tech kid in there, and then Jacob at College Charleston. But it just the level of stress is maybe unmatched. At least from my perspective, I can't imagine, because I know where you are, and I know where we are, and it's the same path. Like because you'll get to this when your daughters are my son's age, you'll be there again. It's like it never subsides.
No, and that's
until
part
it's
of,
over.
That's part of what goes on when I get calls from my parents, and they start criticizing the coach.
Yeah.
Like, that's the sort of level where apparently they never let it go. They're in their 70s now, and they're calling. They're like, I can't believe they're playing her that way. I can't believe they did this. Didn't they see what she did the last tournament? Didn't they see what she did last year? And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's just what it is.
Yeah, man,
I'm trying not to stress about it.
Yeah, we're just doing the best we can to get through this thing. Good Lord, yeah. Morning Xtra at Xtra 106.3. Thank you for being here. 404-741-1230 is the number, at Xtra 106.3 across the social media platforms. If you'd like to get engaged in the conversation, we are planning to do a morning show cleanse. Joe, are you jumping in on this too or no?
No.
Okay. I love the fact that
36 hours is really nothing.
It feels like a lot.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, it feels like a lot.
I'm just going to prove that we can pull this thing off.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
We're going to be gnawing on your forearms. I'll be over here fat and happy.
At Know It All Mom, she said, not so crazy, fasting to reset the immune system, feeding a cold, starving a fever.
See?
Similar concept. And so she's behind us, which I appreciate. And if I can hold on for 36 hours, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to put my best foot forward. I intend to complete the drill. That is my goal, right? That's what I plan to do. So this is not like a halfway. I kind of do it because I've been known to do that before. Like, maybe I'll do that. If I throw a maybe in there, that means no. And I think that's goes for everybody.
You just have to consume 0-calorie drinks or stuff like that.
Which is water, which is what I drink most of the time anyway, unless I'm having an adult beverage.
I looked into it. The Sprite Zero and the other zeros with 0 calorie is okay.
Oh, really?
It's what it says.
Okay.
0 calorie intake.
There we go. Maybe I will do it.
I spent a whole day drinking Diet Coke.
It does not sound like it would be a good cleanse. I'm going to stick with water, I think.
Yeah, I think water sounds like the best idea.
Because I don't like coffee.
No, I'm not. I don't drink coffee.
Yeah, I've never had a cup in my life. I mean, I've had a sip, but it's just not good. 2 out of 3 people want mass deportation of illegal immigrants in the United States, and we're somewhere between 10 million and 30 million. It varies depending on where the information comes from. But regardless, I think people are just sick of Biden's broken border and all the promises that go along with we're fixing this. The fake executive order saying we're going to do something when Jen Psaki on MSNBC says, no, he's not doing anything. This is nothing more than political theater. He knew he had to do something to shore up some of the voters that are upset with him that are potentially going to stay at home.
Look what he did.
Yes, that's right.
That's all they were looking for.
Yeah.
Then you ask the question, what did it do?
Nothing.
And somebody like Mayorkas is saying, well, nothing.
Nothing. No,
it's not really doing
political
anything.
Theater.
But take a listen. This is from CBS Face the Nation yesterday. And you're going to have an analyst who's talking about the polling that shows 2/3. Remember, when I talk about being able to get like a majority of Americans to agree on anything. Water's wet, the sky is blue. Okay, there are people that will fight you on the sky is blue. Okay, it's just how it goes. 2/3 of Americans want mass deportations. Take a listen to this.
You know, we have a lot of the campaign rhetoric speaking of what people say they would do. You've seen the Trump campaign talking about mass deportations. We tested that in a general way in principle. Would you support a new government program that would deport all people living in the U.S. illegally? And that finds majority favor. That finds 6 in 10. It's strongest among folks who are MAGA. It's strongest among Trump supporters, but also from some Democrats as well. And I think that speaks to the general idea, not just that people see the border as a crisis, but also where we are in the campaign, where a lot of very dramatic or new proposals out there are finding favor here.
See, what they are not able to say, and that I will, because that's why you come to this radio station, you get to hear some truth. When you look at the jobs numbers, what is going on in this country is more full-time jobs are going away. They're being replaced by part-time jobs. A majority of those jobs are now being filled by people that are known as immigrants. They have an immigrant status. So whether they're here on a work visa or they're here illegally, those are the people that are picking up the jobs. What is happening is that the American worker is being pushed out. They're not only just from a full-time standpoint, the part-time jobs are finding their way to other people. 6 in 10, the only way you get 6 in 10 is by Democrats saying along the lines, I'm seeing what's happening economically. I don't want these people here illegally.
No, I think a lot of people feel that way. And if you ask the same question, would you like to have the U.S. military down on the border to secure it? 2 out of 3, I think the number is saying yes. And that poll was probably this time last year. But Donald Trump has quoted it a bunch of times, as is a lot of people. That's another thing that people are so tired of. They're like, use our military to protect us and to protect the country. So there's a couple things that people are coming together on, no matter which side of the aisle you find yourself on.
I just find it troublesome that it's painted as, well, that's like some sort of MAGA extremist. It's like, well, I'm not a MAGA extremist. Don't have the hat. Never been to a rally. And same here. But I grew up with illegal immigration happening right, several hours from my home. You would see people come through. Whenever we'd go hunt South Texas, we would see people crossing the border, and you just knew, leave them alone.
Let that be.
That's just let that be. It's just how it's going to be. That was something that I've always, and I've talked about it before. The people that are the most staunch against this stuff are American Hispanic people.
Absolutely right.
Because they look at it and say, you're not allowed to be in here unless you go through the process. And if you then go through the process, fine. But you can't just jump the line because you're not bringing anything to society. You really aren't.
But it's
you think that Jeff from the Middle East decided he's going to open up his own dentistry here?
Yeah.
Okay. Like that's ain't coming over here to start adding a ton to society. What they're doing is they're coming over here and they're providing very cheap labor that you have establishment Republicans and the communists who love this.
They love it. You're exactly right. But it's funny because you brought it up and they echoed it in that cut when they described the people who are against the border being open and in favor of mass deportation and even militarization of the southern border. They led with, it's mostly MAGA Republicans. It's mostly those extremists. And then there's a few Democrats, that they push the mic away. And then, because it's not just a few Democrats. It's not.
You can't have 66% of anything.
That's exactly right. That's not a few.
No.
The addition doesn't work.
No. In fact, the joke was that the other 1/3 were illegal immigrants.
Okay.
The 2/3 are all for it. 1/3 are going, nuh-uh.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't get to 66-70% of anything in this country without Democrats being on board.
No doubt.
But they don't bring that up because that would be against the narrative. That would be problematic to bring up.
Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. The 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, one of the few second-generation, locally owned HVAC companies in Atlanta. With Central, you're not just a number, you're a member of the family.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
It's Monday, June 10th, 2024. Tug, we're closing in on Juneteenth. Prepare yourself accordingly.
Here we go.
Another small earthquake is reported in Gwinnett County out near Lake Lanier as last night at 8:30 in the evening, there was a 2.0 magnitude earthquake. That's according to the United States Geological Survey. That now follows up the 2 that occurred last week, Thursday evening as well, a 2.7 and a 1.5. So now 3 earthquakes in the area in a matter of a week. How much did the water crisis caused local businesses in Atlanta? A story you can find over at Fox 5 will show you anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 a day for every small business that was affected and was unable to operate during that time period. Brave star Ronald Acuna Jr. did have successful surgery on his ACL. He has now been put on the 60-day disabled list. He'll rejoin the team next year. Also, the Atlanta Braves, they're going to open up a 3-game series in Baltimore starting tomorrow night. As for Georgia and their baseball team,
let's go.
They will get a chance to get their ticket punched to the College World Series against NC State tonight, a winner-take-all Game 3. That is scheduled for just after 7 o'clock over in Athens. You can check that out on ESPN+.
Go Dogs. Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3. Los is a conservative living in a liberal home. Now, how does he deal with that? We'll discuss it next.
Alcohol.
Yeah, that's right. For fries. Eating your sandwich.
A lot of documentaries.
That's right. I stay distracted as much as I can. Next on the Morning Xtra, we're on the air until 10, then back playing Buck in the local afternoon show with Kimber, Pete, and Flounder 3 until 6.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Xtra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
It's true. Every single legal analyst, including on the liberal networks, are now admitting, but it's clearly this is a kangaroo court. This is Venezuela. This is Cuba. This is Russia.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
As an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, the Warrior Alliance connects warriors and their families to free services such as health and wellness, housing, employment, education, legal services, and so much more. We need your financial support to increase our impact and change thousands of lives for those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. It takes more than just thank you for your service. Make a donation to help warriors navigate to success after service. Go to thewarrioralliance.org/donate and make a difference today.
Millions
of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Customer service seems like a lost art these days, but EMC Security is bringing it back. I was blown away with their service. They answer the phone quickly and truly want to help you, which is rare these days. My technician was friendly, answered all my questions, and got everything installed perfectly. I highly recommend EMC Security.
EMC Security, exceeding customer expectations since 1998. Call or visit emcsecurity.com for a free quote.
When it comes to protecting your assets and ensuring peace of mind, trust the expertise of Nelson Elder Care Law. Our Absolute Protection Trust is designed to provide unparalleled asset protection. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com to discover how our specialized services can safeguard your family's future and assets, offering you the assurance you deserve. NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
Well, Sally, thank you for your time, but unfortunately, we can't offer you the position.
But why?
Well, we got the results of your background check, and we saw some red flags.
Like what?
Apparently, you were accused of dog-napping a Chihuahua named Mr. Cha-Cha.
Mr. Cha-Cha was my soulmate.
At Horizon Background Screening, we find things that other companies don't. That's why companies that use us make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com.
Insurance companies know that you don't know a lot about the law, so maybe it would be better just to let your lawyer make the call to the insurance company when there's a problem. David Van Sant should be that lawyer. He used to work for the insurance company. He knows who to call, what to say, and he has your best interest at heart. Plus, if you don't get paid, either does he. Van Sant Law, 855 GA Injury or vansantlaw.com.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Ownwell. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ownwell.com/terms. Estimate based on your neighborhood average and individual results may vary.
Here in Atlanta, we've got history, good food, sky view, and outrageous sky-high property taxes. Sometimes with a bill 5 times higher than other Georgia counties. But luckily, there's Ownwell. Ownwell can appeal and reduce your property taxes and potentially save you thousands of dollars.
And right now, you can sign up for free by texting LEARN to 64,000.
You don't have to be an expert to save thousands of dollars every year, because Ownwell's cutting-edge technology and local tax experts do all the legwork for you. And you only pay if you save. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the view.
Sign up now, free. Don't pay unless you save. Text LEARN to 64,000. Text LEARN to 64,000. Text LEARN to 64,000.
Love having a true conservative news and talk station in Atlanta? Then spread the word. Tell your family and friends to download the Extra 106.3 app and stream the Morning Extra, The Kimmer Show, and Atlanta's biggest lineup of conservative voices.
My wife watches some bad TV, and it drives me up the wall. Good Lord. I mean, Bridgerton and the Queen show, whatever the new Queen show is on Netflix. She watches Virgin River. Not Joe Virgin River, but just Virgin River.
Just regular Virgin River.
Much more fun.
That's what I hear. And then there's another one that's on the tip of my tongue, and probably every woman that's listening right now knows the ones that I'm talking about. Oh, it doesn't matter. She watches a lot of bad TV, but overall, a very conservative lady. You know, we go to church on Sunday, and you know we're I guess we're out of the norm these days. You know, we've been married for 23 years. We had our first child after we were married for 3 years. You know, and we eat dinner together. We watch a lot of Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and Family Feud.
And y'all sleep in the same room in different beds.
Not yet. We're not there yet. But it's coming. It's coming soon.
Night, Paul.
Yeah,
Night,
right.
Paul.
That's right. Like the Waltons. My daddy used to love that show. He would watch it all the time. But we're just a pretty conservative household. This is just the way we live our life, and if others live it differently, that's fine. But I am so confused on how you and your wife do it, because y'all are such a wonderful couple and you've been married for so long. What are y'all at, 18 years?
18 years.
18 years?
Yep.
2 beautiful daughters. And y'all are different politically, and it seems like it would be such a challenge all the time.
Well, one, we don't talk politics.
Smart.
That's first and foremost. Like, she'll get angry more so over football, which every now and then I'd have to kind of tell her. Like, we had one time, this is going back.
God bless her.
This is going back 20 years ago. We're in a sports bar, and her team starts doing poorly, and I start mocking her and making fun of her. And she proceeded, like, I ended up on the couch. Like, no doubt about it, you're on the couch.
Wow, dude.
Because you went after my football team.
Was it Georgia?
No, it was Washington.
Oh, okay.
It was an NFL Sunday, and her team fumbled for like the 3rd time. I was like, is that another fumble?
Uh-oh. What just happened?
So I learned that that's something else we don't do.
That's the button you don't push.
You cheer for your team. It's what you
don't
do.
cheer against hers. Yeah, that makes sense.
But so the moment happened over the weekend where it just, there's those times where I'm trying to, I don't want to talk sense, because at that point now it sounds like funny mansplaining.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to talk some sense into you.
Right.
But I kind of want to open her eyes to some things.
Yeah, of course.
And so she had brought up something that you and I had this very discussion about. She brought up over the weekend. She's like, I know I'm feeling a little bit older. She's like, I feel like I've been dealing with a lot of brain fog. Like I'm just not as mentally clear as I want to be, even when I sleep a lot.
Yes.
I'm just not exactly with it. And I said, well, I suggested to you 3 months ago, maybe you should get on this Encapsulate along with me.
Oh, yeah.
So, by the way, encapsulateusa.com.
There you
Check
go.
them out. It's one of our station sponsors. But so I've been on that mushroom blend in part because I feel like I sleep easier, the gut health aspect, and then the mental clarity.
Yeah, I've been taking it too, man. And because I told you I just keep forgetting in the morning because I'm supposed to take it in an empty stomach, and I would screw myself up.
Right.
And so now I've started putting it right where I can
first thing
see
in the morning.
First thing I see.
I've got my stuff that I take. I've got here's my daily, here's my vitamin D, and here's my Encapsulate. And so I'm very much into my supplements and supplementing your health in that way. And so I brought it up with her. I go, hey, why don't you consider this?
Try it out.
And the first thing out of her mouth is, and keep in mind, like lion's mane is pretty much known as being one of the mushrooms that does so much for, if not prevention of Alzheimer's or dementia, but at least something that can help lower the opportunity where it occurs. At least that's what the research says. She goes, well, you're going to have to show me a study that it would be beneficial to me. And I sat there for a second. I was like, you took a government shot without anything. And I need to show you a freaking study so that you'll take a mushroom supplement.
You went from 0 to 60 in a second and a half.
And it just hit me that the ideology, the way that they are basically talked to, and I flat out told her, I go, first off, and I wasn't trying to, again, not trying to mansplain, right? Every now and then you should mansplain if you need to. But what I was trying to tell her is, the reason why there is not going to be some massive, double-blind, expensive study is because there's no money in it for Big Pharma.
That's right. Yeah.
In fact, Big Pharma, as of now, they are trying to take aspects of mushrooms and trying to basically get it down to a compound that they can then use for medication to sell it back to you for $1,000 a pill.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's what they're trying to do, because there's research and development is only tied to things that are going to make them money.
That's right. I mean, they're a for-profit business,
right?
For a reason.
So when I tell her, listen, I can find you this. Here's this information. Here, and guess what she did? Okay, I'll do it.
Well,
so at least
she did like a 180.
At least after doing a little bit of reading on her own. Now remember, you were told 3 years ago. Don't do your own research.
No, I
know. Reading on your own.
Absolutely. That's terrible. And if you were to come upon something that is opposite of what the government is telling you, that is fake news, and you're crazy for reading it.
But
we are the science.
We are. I am the science. If you come at me, you're coming after science. But I just thought about how silly it was to have this moment in my home where I go, hey, this has been working for me rather well, and I haven't had any sort of, like you worry about, like, hey, if I start taking a new supplement, is it gonna make me queasy? Is it gonna cause? I was like, no, I have not had one issue.
It's me either.
3-4 months now, and I feel like it's done quite a bit. The one thing I want to check out, I want to see where my cholesterol level is, because it also does quite a bit for dropping cholesterol. And so, to me, these are all pluses, and what she's lacking, this can help. It's she's jumping the line a little bit. And the fact that she told me what she's told me, I was like, 3 years ago, you couldn't wait.
But her and everybody else, though.
I know. But that's the mindset. That is I thought about how if you made it through that entire period, and not everybody could, because there were mandates. There were people that had to keep a job. If you want to keep teaching or keep being a firefighter or keep being a public service employee, there was a whole reason why you had to do it. And so I don't fault you one bit. For those of you that avoided it the entire time and just said no,
congratulations.
You're the strong ones. Like, should be the future leaders of this society, because you withstood a $1 billion ad campaign to the point that at least maybe now, when I suggest to my wife, hey, why don't we jump on this encapsulate together? And she goes, hold on a second. I hope that's a lesson that she learned
the paperwork
from that time period of, just because it's offered and somebody says, hey, this is great for you. It's like you go, time out. Let me take a step back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping is what has now occurred to her.
Can you imagine, though, if she would have gotten a hold of the paperwork for the COVID vax and she was looking inside it? and
there's nothing.
It was this.
The insert is just a white piece of paper that actually intentionally has nothing on it.
Yeah, nothing here. What does it say? Good for you, bad for you? No, just nothing.
It's just nothing here. You're not allowed to know.
You're right. And if you question it, you are a MAGA extremist.
But I was offering a mushroom supplement.
Yeah.
And she was like,
I don't know.
There's so much research on mushrooms.
No, there is. It's everywhere. As a matter of fact, because my son's been so focused on his health lately, eating better, watching what he puts in his body. He's lifting every day, but he's just trying to get bigger, faster, stronger for next year. He has came to me and asked me about. He was like, "What do you know about mushrooms? Have you read anything about mushrooms? I'm reading that they're really good for you."
Yeah.
And so we've been having the same conversation. I don't know if it's just hitting people's radar screen lately, or they run across encapsulate. I don't know what it is.
I think what's been interesting in the last 3 years is that we now have, and this is their own fault. This is the fault of the FDA, the CDC, and every other organization out there.
That no one listens to them?
You now have people that have taken much more charge of their health in terms of what is out there, what I should be doing, and then asking questions and trying to find free doctors. Again, not free in terms of they're not charging anybody, but ones that are not attached to the government bureaucracy, where they can actually tell you, here's alternative cancer treatment, here's something to supplement your cancer treatment. Because you have doctors that'll tell you that when you start cancer treatment, you should also be doing X, Y, and Z. Some of them aren't authorized to tell you that because it's not approved by
their
Cancer Society,
network.
FDA, and everything else. Yeah,
it's funny because a buddy of mine who was able to withstand. He goes to this holistic care doctor, and she is a free doctor, meaning free to do. She's not connected to any network. It's expensive. She doesn't take insurance. It is a cash deal.
But you're going to get.
You should see the difference in him in just a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it is remarkable, the difference in him in just a year.
So there you go. Do your own research, or hopefully you now question things.
At least. You should question everything.
You're going to have to show me a study. What? What do you mean?
This is the best. When we come back on Extra 106.3, MAGA extremists do exist, and you should hear just how extreme they really are. Get ready for a huge eye roll. After 8, Neil Bort's report and a Fox News update on Extra 106.3.
It's time for the Bort's Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
I'm trying, my friends, I'm trying really hard to live up to the precepts of that wonderful book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Flip. I'm retired. There's not too many things I want to give a flip about. Family's at the top of the list. But this presidential election is forcing me. Darn it. If not for your children and grandchildren, it might be easy to sit back and be amused and just not care. But This presidential election is unlike any other. Two extremely flawed candidates. But in a country of 350 or so million people, you're going to be able to come up with two extremely flawed candidates sooner or later, but not at the same time, please. So I'm going to have to care about the election a little bit, if for no other reason, my granddaughter. And in so doing, I just simply cannot understand why a sane and rational person would put Joe Biden back in office. Look what's going on around the world. China, Iran, Russia, upcoming military maneuvers in the Caribbean. Russian nuclear submarine docked 90 miles from Florida. Would Trump be allowing this? I think there'd be a pretty strong response. China rattling its sabers against Taiwan and moving on with its plans for complete control of the South China Sea. Then there's Iran. If they're not already there, they're really close to developing a couple of nuclear weapons. Joe Biden says, don't say anything about it. It'll irritate them. Just let it go. Be quiet. A president running for re-election. And one more thing. Private schooling is on the rise. That would end if Joe Biden were reelected. I'm not your guru of not giving a flip, but a lot of us need to be paying a lot more attention. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Looking for bold discussions on vital issues? Tune in to The Janelle King Show every Saturday at 3 p.m. with an encore episode every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3, where we dive into kitchen table topics that are essential for a strong republic. Don't miss an episode, but if you do, it's all good because we have new podcasts that drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss out on these thought-provoking conversations.
It's the unsung hero of your home, your garage door. You never think about it. You just hit the button and it opens until it doesn't. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. So you're ready for a new garage door. At All Four Seasons, we offer fast service, affordable prices, and a huge selection of styles, colors, and custom features. Improve your curb appeal, lower your energy bill, secure your home, and increase your property value. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.com.
A verdict that has truly changed America.
I cannot believe guilty on all 34 counts.
As we enter the heart of election season, what does this mean for conservatives?
As an attorney, as somebody who's committed your life to this, how much does it bother you to see the rule of law in very weird way applied?
It's greatly concerning to me.
Trust Atlanta's only conservative voice for the real answers and the perspectives that matter to you.
It's time for red state attorney generals and district attorneys to get busy.
This is Extra 106.3 FM and streaming free across Georgia on the Extra app. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
The First Lady is back in court. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, sitting near President Biden's son, Hunter, whose federal gun trial has resumed this morning. The big question is, will he take the stand in his own defense?
If he does not and declines to testify, this all could wrap up very quickly. We could get closing statements and deliberations this afternoon. But if Hunter does testify, the prosecution has indicated it will call rebuttal witnesses, likely extending the trial through the week. They're arguing that Hunter illegally purchased and possessed a firearm and allegedly swore on a federal form that he was not a drug user.
Fox's Rich Edson outside the court in Wilmington, Delaware. Former President Trump has a meeting with a New York probation officer in a video call from his Florida resort a month and a day before he's sentenced.
The meeting is a pre-sentencing interview and is often conducted with convicted persons to prepare a report for the judge who issues the sentence. The former president was found guilty of 34 felonies focused on a payment made to an adult film actress in a non-disclosure agreement before the 2016 election. Former President Trump is appealing the matter and insists the prosecution was politically motivated.
Fox's Eben Brown, the former president, again called it a fake case at a rally in Nevada.
The people get it.
Saying his support keeps growing.
We just had the largest fundraising effort in a period of 1 week
than anybody has ever had.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken's in Egypt, again pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza. He'll soon go back to Israel for talks with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is under more pressure with 2 war cabinet members resigning despite the weekend rescue of 4 Israeli hostages from Hamas captivity.
For Israelis, this was a day of hope. For Palestinians, it was a day of death and destruction. The Hamas-run Palestinian Health Ministry says nearly 300 people, mostly civilians, were killed during the operation. Videos from central Gaza showed a hospital overflowing with injured and dead patients.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. America's listening to...
Your pet isn't just a pet, they're part of your family. Most of the pet food on the market is cooked at high temperatures, which kills nutrients. A scoop of Dynavite is a 3-in-1 daily supplement, adding back key nutrients to your pup's health. Try Dynavite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio. That's Dynavite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynavite.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
No need for traffic updates. We always steer you right. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Made the deadly mistake. I guess deadly is a little bit of a stretch, but a terrible mistake. I answered a phone call from someone that I did not recognize the number, or the number was not saved in my phone. Here's the deal. I'm waiting for a phone call from a tire company. It's Butler Tire. And they advertise with us here at Extra 106.3 and at Dickey Broadcasting. They were just buying new tires for my son's Jeep. And so I had to answer the other day a couple calls coming in from numbers that I didn't recognize. And then I did it again thinking that that's what it was. That was not it. That was not it. It was it was the usual.
What, telemarketing?
Telemarketing. Waste of time call. It just drives you crazy. And then once you answer it one time, dude, it is rapid fire. They're like, this one will answer. Call them again and again and again.
I block them all. Every now and then I'll get a call that's useful.
Yeah, it's so rare. So rare. My poor wife, her phone is blowing up from the same 2 numbers, or relatively the same 2 numbers, and they're telemarketers. And she blocks them, and it calls it from the next number down. Oh, like if it is 1381, she'll block 1381, and it'll be 1382, and then 1383. And she keeps blocking them, but good Lord, after a while, it's just like you can't win.
I've done that. I've also done the do not call list.
Yeah, I know.
As much as I can.
I don't know why you have to re-up the do not call list. Yeah. I don't know the purpose behind that, except to appeal to those people that are like, well, we're going to let it fall off after 2 years or after 6 months or whatever the number is. So don't worry, you'll be able to.
I just had a moment where I was getting probably a good 6 or 7 a day. Like all in succession, all during the same time period. And I finally was like, all right, I'm blocking them all and I'm hitting every do not call list I possibly can.
Yeah, no, you need to do that for sure. You know, it's funny, we've had, and I just saw this a minute ago and heard it on the Fox News update. When Trump was convicted, they said, first time ever. This is the first time ever. And you know what? I've not heard anybody say this is the first time ever a first son has been on trial. You know,
for gun charges?
For gun charges. I've not heard anybody
related to cocaine and crack use?
Yeah, I've not heard anybody say this is the first time of that. It's not. It's like they'll do it inflammatory when it's Trump, but they won't do it Biden. And that includes Fox News. They're guilty of it, too. And then...
well, you've never found a president to be unprosecutable because he's old and elderly with a bad memory.
That's the first time ever that's ever happened. No one presented it that way, though, Los.
Of course
That's
not.
the stuff that drives me crazy. And then I just heard that Jill Biden is sitting next to Hunter in his court case, because that gets underway here in just a few minutes. I've not heard anybody say that.
That the first lady is currently sitting in a courtroom with her crackhead son on a gun charge?
Yeah. I've not heard anybody say that's the first time, even though I bet it is. It's just interesting the difference in the way that the mainstream media will present something versus the way that, you know, an independent media will.
Well, if you were talking about Joe Biden, you could possibly point out that he showered for entirely too long with his daughter.
According to her diary.
And he's going to be making an appearance at X, just wherever you want to say. I mean...
Yeah.
You can always couch it in these things.
You can, but they don't.
Oh, why? Of course not, because it's a narrative.
But I know, but you would expect Fox News. Let's call it what it is. But most people do, though. That's the thing. I think most people think, oh, Fox News, I'll watch them because they're conservative.
Fox News, first off, no. Fox News is not conservative. Now, if you want to tell me about taking the biggest conservative in news media in Tucker Carlson and firing him over the idea that this entire country, remember, Fox News made it a point in 2020 and with their subsequent coverage in 2021, we're moving completely away from Trump and we're moving away from the conservatives. That's what we're doing. And so, yeah, whenever you hear our updates, our Fox News updates, and every now and then something kind of gets you to turn like a dog, that was kind of weird. Like, how was that put forward?
Yeah.
Because remember, this is a group that decided we don't want conservatives, and we're turning away from Donald Trump. And now, when you actually see what's going on, now suddenly they're like, "Well, we were just kidding."
Yeah, we won't back.
I mean, we won't. We aren't going to hire back Tucker Carlson. Tucker's doing great, by the way, with his own network and everything else. But they're like, "Wait a minute, the gravy train is still running, and Trump's at the front of it. Okay, we need to get on that."
We're back. We're back, boys and girls. We're back. We care again. We want you back. Please listen. Please watch.
I mean, I could find the stories. I mean, I kept those receipts somewhere when Fox News decided we're moving away. They basically made it a point. We're going to hold on to, remember, they kind of pushed him into a different time slot, but it's not like they're celebrating Sean Hannity anymore.
No, no.
And they fully expect him to do the company line. Remember, the very last Tucker monologue was on the shots and on Big Pharma. And the next thing you knew, he was out the
wouldn't let him do it.
Couple days.
Would not let him do it. Between that and then any sort of election questioning, you can't have that.
Nope.
And it's so rare on Fox. Sometimes in the evening, like a Laura Ingraham will bring up something, or a Jesse Waters, who is basically Bill O'Reilly 2.0. In the handful of times that I've watched his show, it is like watching Bill O'Reilly all over again. Same mannerisms. He says the same things. And I always enjoyed O'Reilly. But it's interesting to me to see how, because Waters, if you recall, was the street guy.
The street guy for Bill O'Reilly.
Go out with a microphone, ask people crazy questions, and ask them their opinions about stuff. But it was on O'Reilly's show that happened, and that's been nearly 20 years ago. And now he's taken that slot that O'Reilly was in, and it's a very similar show, which has a lot more conservative tendencies. There for a while, I thought he towed the company line too, and he may in some ways or other. But there are those things that I see, like clips on social media, where I'll go, okay, I think that's a good point of view there, Jesse Waters. It happens occasionally.
I'm just taking a look at, there's a Washington Post article entitled, "Fox News considered a breakup with Trump. 2021 changed those plans." It basically is pointing out how they were going a completely different direction, and then they saw which way the wind was blowing.
And then we're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
We're totally back.
Isn't it funny the way it works like that? Morning Extra and Extra 1063. I want you to hear what these crazy MAGA extremists believe. You won't believe your ears when you hear what the heart of MAGA extremism sounds like.
I'd like to talk to you today about these MAGA extremists. I'm sure you've heard Biden mention them time and again, but these people are truly, truly extreme. These MAGA extremists believe that America should be a sovereign nation. They want our borders to be secured and believe that people must migrate here legally instead of illegally. These MAGA extremists believe that we should not get involved in foreign wars. These people don't like war. They don't want a world with war. They're crazy. These MAGA extremists believe that women should be the only ones competing in women's sports.
What?
These MAGA extremists don't believe that men can get pregnant. These MAGA extremists believe that people should be hired based on their credentials and not their skin color or who they sleep with. It's disgusting. These MAGA extremists believe that babies inside the womb are human beings. These extremists believe that it's hypocritical to purchase oceanfront property or to fly around on private jets or to own multiple homes if we truly believe in climate change.
That's right.
This is a hard one. But these MAGA extremists also believe that good guys should be allowed to have guns. These extremists want more products made in America. This one just It gets me. These extremists, they believe that the government should not be able to forcibly inject an individual with something that they don't want.
You get the drift, man. She goes on and on and on and on, and it is all just the same stuff that we always talk about. Can you believe these extremists?
These extremists.
They exist. We exist. They a baby in the womb is actually a human and a baby. And if you read ultrasounds or have seen ultrasounds, and the more technology is increased there and become better and better, it becomes more obvious that that's the case.
So here's the fun thing. If you ever run into, let's say, your liberal Aunt Peggy.
Oh, well, which I do.
And you ever indulge in the arena of ideas, when you make the point, I don't believe we should be involved in foreign wars and sending money to other places, she has to argue the other side.
Yeah.
Which she pretty much felt that way 20 years ago. Now she has to argue the other side, which is going to come across as crazy because she has to create straw men and boogeymen. Well, if we don't do it, Putin will march all the way across Europe. I was like, he can't even take Kiev.
Yeah. Like, what gives you... And I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. If the intel was there proving that, it would be everywhere because they need to convince you. And the people in the United States have turned against this war and do not believe that we should be there, do not believe that we should be funding it, knowing that it's a stalemate or at best a stalemate and then a complete loser at worst. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they would use that to their advantage if it existed. Where is it?
But here's where the pretzel moment occurs because there's always going to be that. Like, you ask them to have that discussion. If you were to say, I don't believe we should have late-term abortion. Do not believe that should be available in this country to abort a child at the 8, 9, right at the end.
Yeah.
Liberal Aunt Peg is going to tell you, well, that's health care. And you can say, well, yeah, but if I didn't take the shot, you were going to deny me health care.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Explain to me this right to health care.
They can't. They can't because
they won't.
They won't.
Pretzels.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. What'll happen is Aunt Peg will get very angry.
Yes.
And when she gets very angry, she just starts hollering.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm
emotional.
like, okay, all right. And then it's not worth talking. And that's what it always devolves into. So I don't even bring it up. I just roll my eyes.
But so this woman that we played the audio of, as she's just pointing out these very basic things, the idea of securing our border from foreign invaders, somehow that's extreme.
Yeah,
somehow
it is.
That's crazy talk.
Oh my gosh, Lowe's.
I'd like to have a sovereign country.
No,
would you like to have a sovereign country?
No, we can't have that because that is, I'm sure, some sort of phobic or some sort of ist.
This is still what you saw. We saw this in Boston, and we've seen this in a couple of other different cities. I think Chicago had a program like this as well, where they were trying to offer up to the public, hey, if you have an extra bedroom, can you let us know? We'll move a family in.
Yeah, no, that's right.
And they got crickets.
You can imagine that.
It's like weird how you want to open up your country to anyone, but you won't open up your own
doors. Because that is
that's a bridge too far.
That's a ride. Well, and that's the thing. It doesn't matter because in Chicago, it's not bothering us in Chicago or New York or Boston. That's only they used to exactly. That's where I was going with it. It used to be, well, that's a Texas thing. That's all they got. Arizona, Texas,
California. That's
they
your
got to worry about it. I ain't got to worry about that. Let everybody in. That's what we need to do. We've got enough. We can pay for everybody. We can pay for everything until it happens. And then all of a sudden, you see the revolt in Chicago. You see the revolt in New York City.
And it all goes back to just their policies. Like we talked about how you have a majority of the jobs are going to illegal immigrants. That's where your jobs report has it. As much as the administration wants to, send up the sparklers and tell everybody about, look at this jobs report. You dig in the numbers. It's part-time jobs. They're going to a majority of immigrants. And by the way, that's been happening since 2018. This is not a recent trend.
New.
This is it's just accelerating at this point. And so when you have these states like Arizona and Texas, typically red states that have been dealing with this stuff, when I say it's all on your policies, these people that are coming across the border, they're not Mexican. They're from around the world, and all they know is, get me to a blue state where everything's going to be paid for.
I'm going to be given a job. I'm going to be given a house. I'm going to get health care. Everything.
So they're heading to your liberal cities.
And let them. And if they're coming in, let them.
And meanwhile, the Biden administration is trying to fly 300,000 people into red areas and hoping they can stay there so they can tip the scales.
But that's not ever going to work, right? Because in those red areas, you're not getting that stuff.
Not the same services.
You're not getting the handouts at all. And if you do get something, it's going to be for a limited time. This is not going to be a cradle to grave kind of endeavor where we just everything you need for the rest of your life is taken care of.
Whereas in New York, the laws that are on the books, they have to provide a roof over your head. They have to provide shelter. And they're unwilling to get rid of this law. They're unwilling because that would be inhumane. Well, now look at how many of your hotels are filled with illegal immigrants. Illegals.
Yeah. Man, you can't even afford to go, like if you wanted to go and visit. Because
see what the prices of hotels are. The limited, of all places, New York.
Yeah.
With a limited supply of hotel rooms. That's like telling me hotel rooms are sparse in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be something massive going on. In this case,
and multiple things massive going on. But that's the thing, when you're putting 10 million new people into the country, then yes, there is something massive going on. And it is taking up capacity. But look, they keep asking for it. The liberal states and the liberal cities keep asking for it. Yet their people, the people that actually live there, they're pushing back. And that's the quandary, really, right? It's because it's the political powers, whether at the city or state level, that are saying, yes, of course, this is what we want. This is what we stand for. And then the people that live in those communities are like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is affecting us.
But this is where we also see the reaction from the people that do have money who are able to leave. Like we've had in the last several years, especially in California, the idea that California has been a state that has grown every single year in its existence until the last 3 years.
And then it started to shrink.
And so much of it was because of their COVID policies and people saying, if I have money, I'm getting out of here. Got the same thing going on in New York. This is a lot of backfilling. San Francisco, we had the number on it a couple of weeks ago as far as the amount of people that have left the city. If you have the money, you went elsewhere. And many times they made it a point, hey, listen, I might not even be a right-winger, but I might be a little conservative. I'm getting out of here.
Or I just see how my life is being affected. And I am a liberal lefty. I am a Democrat. And yet I see what's happening in my city and how it affects me directly, and I'm getting out of here. That's the one that scares me to death, because they end up here voting the same way that they did there, and then ultimately this becomes that.
Well, this is the balkanization that's going on in this country. We are taking a large country and breaking it into a lot of smaller ones. That is, when we start talking about separation, that's what it is. It's my community is going to do things my way, my state's going to do things my way, and I'm going to find a place that reflects my values. Because you can see what has gone on in these other communities where clearly they don't have your values, and now, well, they're turning into cesspools. Let them do it. Let them have it.
But the problem is, though, because they end up leaving the cesspool and coming to our happy.
Well, that's where Tugland has to restrict this. Again, we believe in borders.
I know.
All right.
You got to be really involved.
I'm going to keep this very sovereign.
You got to be really involved.
You don't just get anybody to move here.
No, that's right. You got to be really
involved. You know
what
often happens, though? Oftentimes, and this is what people get upset about it, but oftentimes it's economical. You go join certain communities you want to live in because that's the cost in order to be there. And you have to have made a certain amount of money in order to join certain sort of communities, and then that's where their values are. That's kind of the gatekeepers. It's kind of how it works.
9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors, the Southeast premier home exterior solution, quality and precision you can rely on for over 20 years. SouthernExteriors.co. Yes, SouthernExteriors.co.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
It's Monday, June 10th, 2024, and Joe and Tug are both warming up for Juneteenth. Get ready, gentlemen. Another small earthquake reported in Gwinnett County near Lake Lanier. This is now the third one in the span of a week. The United States Geological Survey says a 2.0 earthquake occurred Sunday night at about 8:30. That now follows up the 2.7 and 1.5 that occurred last week on Thursday evening. The Atlanta Braves, they are going to have an off day today. They will move on to take on the Baltimore Orioles, beginning a 3-game series starting tomorrow. As for Brave star Ronald Acuna Jr., he is going to be out the remainder of the season, but he did have successful ACL surgery. He's now been moved to the 60-day disabled list. And the Georgia Bulldogs have a chance to reach Omaha by punching their ticket tonight as they will once again play NC State. It is the winner-take-all Game 3 of the Super Regional. It'll begin just after 7 o'clock. You can watch that game on ESPN+.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Xtra at Xtra 106.3. When we come back, how to handle yourself during adversity. One very scrutinized woman handled herself with such grace after she got, well, disappointing news. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, we'll also talk about doing the Biden, which is blowing up on social media right now.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Pete, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Well, the students at Columbia who were involved in the Useful Idiots demonstration now have sent a demand letter to Columbia insisting that all final exams be called off and a passing grade given to every student. Why?
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
On this episode of The Real Houses of Atlanta.
Whoa, Bobby, what's going on?
Well, now that I'm the HOA president, I'm going to start cracking down on the neighborhood.
With a sledgehammer?
Oh, look, this place is looking rough, and nobody's moving right now either. So I'm telling the neighbors it's time to fix up the homes they have.
And what do you suggest?
Well, I'm telling everybody on the block about Exovations. They're right here, and they can get your house the facelift it needs. We're talking new siding, roofing, windows, doors, decks, even porches, patios, and porticos. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to start with Jim next door. Hey, Jimmy, you got a window out. Check the bylaws.
Hi, this is Candace with Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. Avoid an HOA headache and let us give your home the facelift it needs. We'll introduce you to our ExoVision, our very own architectural design that allows you to envision your home's transformation before you even start the project. Ready for your on-time, on-budget, and stress-free renovation? Visit exovations.com and book your consultation today.
Hey, Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. And now, the security riddle of the day. What's less secure than a fake safe from a furniture or big box store? Joe Biden's fake border policy, of course. But hey, there is good news. This time next year, Joe Biden will not be president. So drop by Atlanta Safe House and check out the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. Build a wall around your valuables with a safe from the Safe House. We have certified delivery crews to install your safe. With over 30 years in the safe business, the Safe House is the place to buy safe in Georgia. So go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Marketing is everywhere. From the billboards on the highways to the notifications on your phone, we are constantly bombarded with people trying to sell us stuff. What makes good marketing? Are you doing enough in your life personally and professionally to market yourself? You have questions, and the Marketing Madmen have answers. Tune in every Saturday, now at 4 p.m., right here on Extra 106.3 to get practical marketing advice from expert guests who are shaping and reshaping the business world. They say marketing is a madman's game. Join the Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. to find out why.
So you conquered the hardest part. You found the one, got approval from the family, shopped for the engagement ring, and you popped the question. Nice job. But you're not done. It's time to plan the wedding. Pick the dress, pick your tux, plan the honeymoon, and yes, find the perfect wedding bands. Well, you're in luck because Wedding Band Weekend is back at Solomon Brothers Jewelers. June 21st through the 23rd is the perfect time to stop in and shop all of the top brands in the industry. You'll find the ring of her dreams. And here is the best part. During Wedding Band Weekend, when you purchase her qualifying ring, you'll get your ring absolutely free. So don't miss Wedding Band Weekend, June 21st through the 23rd in Buckhead, Alpharetta, and Sharpsburg. And at Solomon Brothers, no matter the price, you'll find something nice. You can also shop online at SolomonBrothers.com and on Instagram at Solomon Brothers. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, the preferred jeweler of the Atlanta Braves.
Hey there, Atlanta sports fans. Home team Brandon Leak here with Sonder Health Plans. You know, I've been singing praises about their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans, and now they're stepping up their game with new health plans that include home safety and accessibility modifications. Call them up right now and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Have you considered securing your family's future? Protecting your hard-earned assets, navigating complex legal matters with ease. Nelson Elder Care Law is here to guide and empower you and your loved ones. As a family-owned and family-focused business, our mission is to exceed your expectations, offering absolute assurance and peace of mind. With our trademark Absolute Protection Trust and expertise in customized estate planning, Medicaid crisis solutions, probate administration, guardianship, and conservatorship, Nelson Elder Care Law protects what matters most to you. Imagine a team dedicated to safeguarding your legacy every step of the way. Our flat fees ensure transparency, and our customized plans prioritize your family's specific needs. Are you worried about protecting your family and your legacy after you're gone? Let us help you ensure you're absolutely protected from whatever curveballs life may throw your way. Schedule a complimentary legacy planning meeting with our legal team in Marietta or Woodstock today. Contact us at 678-250-9355 or visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
Hey, it's Clay Travis. Buck Sexton and I are coming your way at noon, but right now we're getting your morning started right with Tug, Rhino, and Carlos Medina on the Morning Extra.
Tug, Rhino, and Los until 7 on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. It's quite flexible. It's the best way to listen. But you can, if you choose, listen at 106.3 FM, 12:30 a.m. Stream us, extra1063.com, XTRA, 1063.com. But the app is the best way to go. Get that free for Apple and Android, searching the same spelling, XTRA, 106.3 FM Atlanta. And as you listen, I just want you to think about when something comes up that you might need, maybe a good or a service, that comes up and you hear about it here on Extra, give that business the opportunity to earn your business. So that's the trade-off. That's it. That's all we ask, is that you give the people that advertise here the first shot at earning your business.
That, and if we ever need a kidney.
Well, but that's a dire...
Like if Tug needed a kidney, yes. Would you step up?
Thank you. Yes. Specifically.
I think that's in my contract.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
As
for
Tug's
all three of y'all.
Blood boy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right on, man. I'm glad to know that. That makes me feel somewhat better. That if I were to need a kidney, that I could get Joe's.
Well, it makes you feel better about your lifestyle.
Yes,
you go so hard.
Drinking and
it's going to need a kidney.
That's right. Yeah.
Liver, we haven't worked that in yet.
Yeah, we need to.
Well, I've already given part of my liver to Rhino.
Okay.
He needed it. Yeah.
Like it's already happened?
Oh yeah.
Well, did you do this at a hospital, local hospital, or?
Oh no, not at all.
No,
I woke up in a bathtub.
You ever been to Mexico?
Once, and we had 5 bodies wash up on the shore within 5 miles.
That was about enough of that?
I was like, I'm out of here. I don't ever want to go back.
Reba.
Yeah, exactly. I remember telling, and you're not far off from this. You're going to experience this. Senior trips, spring break trips, and everybody's like, let's go to Cancun. And I remember when they first said it, I was like, we shouldn't go to Cancun.
I remember how nervous it made you.
It's because I kept reading about the amount of cartel activity that was around there. And sure enough, while we're there for 3 or 4 days for senior trip, and 5 bodies washed up on the shore within 5 miles of the resort that we were staying at. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the super safe, they don't let anything happen on the resorts because that's their cash cow. Yes, they do.
There's plenty of other places to go in this world that don't have the certain level of cartel violence.
30A,
Yeah.
Maybe there. Let's go there.
It's a little crowded, but you know what? You don't really deal with a whole lot of cartel violence.
Mexico Beach.
By all means.
Go rent
some of the prettiest beaches in the world.
I just feel like there's plenty of places if you just want to go to the beach.
Go out to Cape San Blas.
Yeah, but the thing was, they were like, well, the kids are 18 and maybe they can have a cold pop or two legally. And I was like, okay, it being illegal has yet to stop them. Why are we starting now?
Small town Florida will give you that.
Yeah, good Lord, yeah. So anyway, but I don't want to go there. I was just reading that 37%, almost 40% of Americans believe they would be a better president than the current candidates that are running for office. I'm like, okay, maybe you should get involved. Let's start with your local school board.
Let's start by running for school board.
Yeah, right, or your county commission.
Let's work from there.
Yeah, man. Because I think this is such a throwaway answer. It's so easy to be like, yeah, I could do a better job. Yep, for sure I could. I've seen what Biden has done. It's not good. I've seen what Trump has done. It's been better, much better. Do I think that most people would be able to navigate it? No, I don't.
I don't believe so.
It's a swamp.
In part because you have to be able to negotiate deals.
Mm-hmm. Even ones that you don't like and the people that vote for you don't like.
And if there's one area that none of the analysts will ever bring up, that's Trump's primary experience. His entire life. Obviously, art of the deal is there, but if you just know the story of how he got Mar-a-Lago, how he was able to get a hold of that place, maybe that's a story time for tomorrow. Like the story of how he was able to get a hold of that place and then turn it into what he turned it into.
It's only worth $18 million or something.
Yeah. I mean, this is a guy who they flat out told him, like, we're not selling it to you.
Yeah.
And he found a way.
Yeah, well,
and he negotiated a way with the city in order to do it. There's always a way to make deals. And I think that's the one area that we completely ignore when it comes to presidents. It's that if you're good at negotiating with those that are oftentimes adversaries towards you, even partners that are adversarial towards you. Like when he basically told, when he showed up and told the EU nations and NATO, hey, y'all aren't doing your fair share. Y'all are going to start paying. We're not going to pay for this all anymore. Like that made like the Germans go, like, what are you talking about? Like, but that's the overlooked aspect of what he did during his presidency.
No question. And now that they don't have someone there holding their feet to the fire, they've resorted back to doing what they do. And especially when it comes to NATO, nothing.
Well, and here's the polar opposite of what goes on. During the Trump administration, Trump was difficult for his allies and his adversaries. He was easy on you. That is flipped. Biden is very difficult on you. He's very easy on our adversaries.
Oh, no kidding, man.
How much money do you want? What can we give you? How are we going to make this work? Regular Americans, well, you just lost your job doing illegal. Well, I know you can't afford groceries on a regular basis. Yeah, those fuel costs are pretty pain in the butt. No, you can't afford a new home. No, you can't find a job out of college.
No, you can't downsize your home. Even if you can afford it, you can't downsize it. You won't be able to afford to downsize it.
So just remember.
Here, I know that I'm living.
One guy was easy on you, hard on adversaries and allies. The other one is easy on adversaries and allies, hard on you. That's the simplest way I can put it. So when you say, I can do a better job, yeah, maybe. But I know who's somebody who was negotiating deals that were working out well for us.
Yeah, and it ain't Joe Biden by any means. Caitlin Clark is an interesting subject.
What a fun story this has turned into.
Yeah, it really is. And everybody came out, for the most part, everybody has come out on Caitlin Clark's side. She was snubbed when she was left off the U.S. Olympic team. I mean, the best player in the league, the one that draws more eyeballs than the WNBA has ever experienced. The average without her in a game, I'm talking like attendance in the crowd, is like 2,200, 2,500. And then when you add her to the mix, it goes up to about 18,000.
The best way, maybe the most apt description I can give you for this, because she isn't going to have the level of accomplishment. She's not the best player in the league, but she's created such a buzz that this would be very similar to after his first tournament win, that we went and looked at Tiger Woods and said, we know you're better than everybody, but we're not adding you to the Ryder Cup. It's like, no, you put Tiger on the Ryder Cup.
Yeah. They decided not to add Caitlin Clark, and I want you to hear her response to that when she was asked.
Caitlin, what was your reaction when you saw the USA team yesterday, the roster come out?
Yeah, I think I'm excited for the girls that are on the team. I know it's the most competitive team in the world, and I know it could have gone either way of me being on the team, me not being on the team. So, I'm excited for them. I'm going to be rooting them on to win gold. I was a kid that grew up watching the Olympics, so it'll be fun to watch them.
What was your level of disappointment not hearing your name on the roster?
Honestly, no disappointment. Like, I think it just gives you something to work for. That's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there.
What a great answer. She took the answers or the questions that were meant to create a soundbite, were meant to create this buzz and be shared across social media from sea to shining sea and all over the mainstream media, and she disappointed them all because she handled it with grace. I love that about her.
This is a woman who, when it comes to WNBA rookies, I believe the record that she passed was scoring 30 points as a rookie. She did that back end of last month. If anything, this is just about creating a level of interest when it comes internationally to women's basketball. For instance, Kelsey Plum is awesome. All right? Like, Kelsey Plum is a total badass. Kelsey Plum doesn't put butts in seats.
No. Neither does any of the other players.
I'd probably... You want to talk about what makes it very hard for regular Americans to do. It's to root for a Brittany Griner who didn't care for her country one bit.
Yeah.
Who we then end up having to trade a Russian arms dealer. What was it? The Doctor of Death?
Yeah.
We had to trade him for her so that she can represent the United States Olympic team And Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in all of women's basketball, can't. It feels, what's so strange about this, Tug? It kind of feels it for a league that talks about commercial flights and their issues with money and how they're not being paid what they're being paid. When somebody comes in who isn't lesbian and isn't black, okay? Those are two things that Caitlin Clark gets pointed at. It's always the thing, like, oh, look, she's not this and she's not this. That they want to kick her out of the club because she's not those two things.
Yeah, no, that's right. No, you're 100% right. And you know what else is interesting about this? The spotlights that she's put on the WNBA has done nothing but prove the league to be less than. Every time there's a new story that comes out about the WNBA, I watched a press conference with some woman that I have no idea who she is, and she was one of the coaches, and the reporter asked a very standard, hey, what more do you need out of your bench to have them win games, to have them help your team compete? And the coach was like, I need them. What kind of question is that? What kind of question is that? They need to do what they did last Friday when they played better and they scored more. I'm done with this press conference. She just gets up, throws her stuff down, and leaves. I can't even believe I'm being asked this question. Those are questions that dudes get asked every day, and you can't take that little bit of pressure and you're reacting the way you are. It just spotlights how lousy and unimportant the entire league is.
So this was on, this is a couple different websites. Interbasket.net was one of the last ones that had the LGBTQ numbers that were for the WNBA. And it was somewhere between 30% of the league and 58% of the league. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of women that are more than comfortable being out, and so it's fine. In that league, it's just cool. It's not like the NFL where it took one guy and that's the one guy who's done it. It's just not the same. It almost feels like in the interest of keeping it theirs, their own thing, that they won't accept the money olive branch that is Caitlin Clark. Like, you would rather just be determined to say, I want this to stay looking like this and keep it gay.
So it sounds
so we won't make any money by having the straight girl.
So it sounds like they're discriminating against her.
It's like prison rules, man.
Yeah. and boring and unimportant.
Jealousy.
There's no doubt, Joe, jealousy.
I mean, could you imagine if you're sitting on a league that has had to been subsidized for its entire existence by another league, and you have a real opportunity to create this sort of audience that would then launch this thing into making its own way, and in a very similar way that I believe it's the 96 women's 96 women's national team did. When that launched women's soccer into another stratosphere where now they make a crazy amount of money and they've got a crazy amount of notoriety. That all started with that group. You have that right in your face, and you're saying, no, we don't want any part of it.
No, push it right back across the table. We're getting everything we asked for, and yet, when we have it in front of us, we're too stubborn, I'll be kind and say too stubborn to allow it.
Think about how the PGA, that was as lily white as it gets for almost its entirety of its existence, when it got Tiger in there, outside of a Fuzzy Zeller, the whole thing went, this is awesome.
Yeah, and
here's a young black man who is dominating our sport and doing things that nobody else has seen.
I started watching golf because of Tiger Woods.
It expanded in a way you couldn't believe, and the PGA went, yes, and the rest of the players went, look what just happened to our purse money.
Yeah.
Like, suddenly it is huge. Look at what's going on. This man has taken our sport to a new level. Caitlin Clark represents that,
and they hate it.
And the inmates in the asylum won't allow it.
It's the most bizarre thing.
How dumb, from a strictly business standpoint, how dumb do you have to be to reject this?
Dude, Charles Barkley even calls it out. And Charles has been known for being wacky and loony and silly and saying off-the-wall things. And he was like, what are they missing? Like, how do they not get this right? Charles Barkley, of all people.
If we could find a very attractive young woman who is extremely conservative and who wanted to jump on this radio show and do this radio show with us, we'd be idiots.
Yes.
To not be like, full-time?
Yes.
Please.
Immediately.
Because that jumps you into this other level. That is, and again, I get it. How does the WNBA not get this? How does USA Basketball, the women, not get this?
They choose not to get it.
You choose not to get it.
We
at one point had a dream team in 1992 that we put Christian Laettner on because he was the best college basketball player. He wasn't going to earn a minute. He wasn't going to be a factor. But we had it because Leitner grabs eyeballs.
Yeah.
All these NBA stars. You can't tell me that there's not a place for a Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, silly. It's
morons.
Silly.
All of you.
And she was even asked later on, she was like, what if somebody gets hurt? Would you be willing to entertain that? And she's like, yeah, if they need me, I'll be there. You know, he's just so graceful about the whole thing. Good for her. I'm glad she gets it right when so many people don't. I want to get to this story about a mistrial from the Facebook page. There could be a mistrial in the Trump conviction because of a Facebook post that basically said, we got him. We'll talk about that next, and we'll introduce you to Conway Fitty.
Yeah.
This is something I said Lowe's last night, and it even made my wife laugh out loud.
My wife did too.
It's so good. Conway Fitty. Next on the Morning Extra as we wrap up the bonus hour here on Extra 106.3. The 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, the Southeast premier home exterior solution, quality and precision you can rely on for over 20 years. Visit southernexteriors.co. It's southernexteriors.co.
Hey, it's the Kimmer. Look out. The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6, just like the Kimmer. I had my chart here from the other day to show the price differences between the last week of Donald Trump and the beginning, and currently, from the last week of Donald Trump to today. McDonald's McChicken was $1.29 under Trump. It's now $3.89. That's an increase of 201%. Taco Bell had their beefy 5-layer burrito was $1.69 under Trump. It's now $3.69. That's 118% increase. And let's do Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, my friends, the medium waffle fries were $1.65. Now they're $2.99. That's 82% higher. And one more, the Chick-fil-A nuggets were $3.05. Now they're $6. That's 96% increase. Everything is up.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
The EQE SUV electrifies the spirit, soul, and body of the Mercedes-Benz SUV. User-friendly technology meets thoughtful utility, thorough refinement, and earth-friendlier power. Satisfying for both drivers and passengers with innovations that only Mercedes-Benz can deliver. Experience the all-electric 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 SUV today. Lease one for just $759 per month for 36 months with $72.53 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models, and visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta Springs through July 1st, 2024. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hey sandwich lovers, today's your lucky day. There's a whole new way to roll for lunch or dinner delight with Nucky's Hoagies in the Roswell Corners Shopping Center. Now open. Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell is family owned and operated by the Sub-Sisters, Stacy and Shannon, whose love language is food and Nucky's Hoagies, their passion. When you bite into a Nucky's Hoagie, you'll taste the difference. The softest hoagie rolls ever, along with hunger-quenching sandwich combinations. Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell on Woodstock Road your new favorite spot for lunch or dinner.
Jim Niarchos here with exciting news. The All Four Seasons Home Show returns to Atlanta Radio this Saturday morning at 9, bringing you advice and tips from some of Georgia's top business owners. Join Dan Watkins and myself when we will be helping you make smarter purchases, save money, and keep from getting ripped off. That's the All Four Seasons Home Show every Saturday morning at 9, right here on Extra 106.3.
Neil Bortz here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now, I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, cpapsetc.com.
Well, Stephen, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we can't offer you the position.
Why?
Well, we ran your background check, and there were several red flags.
Like what?
You were arrested 7 times for reckless driving.
So
You're applying for the school's bus driver position.
If you're in charge of hiring for your company, you know how helpful a background screening can be. That's why companies that use Horizon Background Screening make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com. Horizonscreening.com.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com. A verdict that has truly changed America.
This has never been, this is outrageous.
What will happen next? Trust Atlanta's only conservative voice for the real answers and the perspectives that matter to you.
Why did nobody step in when they saw what was going on in New York?
This is Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, final segment of the show. We'll turn this thing over to the Glenn Beck program. I'll let you know what they're talking about in just a moment. After that, Clay and Buck, and then the local afternoon show with the Kimmer. It is going to be a wild, wild west Monday because it always is. I mean, he comes in guns a-blazing, he leaves guns a-blazing on his steel horse. And, it sounds like a NASCAR as it's pulling out of here. That's the loudest thing you've ever heard in your life. It sounds like a 700 horsepower NASCAR, and I think that it may be. There is a BBC reporter suggesting that Israel should have told Hamas they were coming to get those hostages. Loshi brought that up. Glenn Beck going to be talking about that today.
You want to play that audio just out of fun?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
We'll do this real quick because we got a handful of things to nail. Okay, BBC, This is the dumbest question ever asked in humanity, or at least for 2024.
Jonathan, we don't know that they were necessarily complicit with Hamas. All of the casualties that were incurred, there are reports of women, of children who are among the dead. It is appearing to be a high civilian death toll. Would there have been a warning to those civilians for them to get out on time?
For sure, of course, we cannot anticipate Israel to be warning ahead of a raid to extract or to save hostages, because then what the terrorists would do is to kill the hostages, and that would defeat the purpose. So, of course, we cannot expect that.
Idiot.
Dumbest question ever.
Idiot. Complete buffoon.
I know you're planning an operation to rescue hostages. Should you let them know beforehand?
And on top of that,
and high civilian deaths. Well, civilians were holding the hostages.
That's you took it right out of my mouth.
Sorry,
man.
it still makes me crazy.
It's so dumb.
It's all that encapsulated in me.
Well, I know, right? It's the
going too quick.
That's right. You can't send me. I'll slow down. But that's the thing, man. They're like, you need to let them know ahead of time. Well, how about don't have hostages? How about that? I mean, if we're doing tit for tat here, maybe that would be my response.
All right, so that's on hostages. Don't have hostages. What about if, let's say, I'm part of a trial and I'm looking at an ex-president? What should I not do if I do not want to create a mistrial, Tug? Since we're just giving people some tips.
If you don't want to create a mistrial, maybe don't tell people about it on social media if you're sitting on the jury, or at least your cousin.
This is a funny story that might actually cause a mistrial. Judge Merchan has already had to send the letter over to the defense team to let them know that on social media, a cousin of one of the jurors was bragging on social media that, yes, they're convicting Trump and it's all done.
Man,
with deliberations not even over.
Man, I'm telling you, can you imagine if this is what overturns everything? And
Because that's mistrial.
Is absolutely, and Trump is exonerated. Can you imagine the meltdown of the TDS type people? Their face and skin will melt right off their body like they're standing next to the sun.
It's going to be like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes,
they're just going to be like,
yeah.
Oh my God!
Right.
There's a part of me that gets it, and there's a part of me that doesn't. And I'll say the part of me that gets it is they're so ruled by emotion that they can't contain themselves.
Yeah, they have to tell somebody.
Got to tell somebody. Like, Fonnie Willis dropped the ball on all this stuff because emotionally she just couldn't keep it together. And so then you had the meltdown they had of, oh my God, Fonnie, we gave you this case and you've ruined it. You have this exact scenario playing out where they got him dead to rights as much as you can on some phony, flimsy charges, some misdemeanors that they suddenly turned into felonies, and they can't tell you exactly can't tell you what exactly the second crime was, but apparently the second crime is what they decided. And this might all unravel because a juror couldn't keep it quiet by telling their cousin during deliberations while they were ongoing that this is what we were doing. They were playing a game. They went and deliberated. We're like, well, we're no. If this timeline is correct, they already knew what they were going to do.
Which is not a surprise whatsoever. They were probably pressured into it. They were the jury was selected for a particular. I mean, it's a show trial to begin with. You don't think some of those things could happen? Because my wife argued, she's like, surely they didn't pressure people, and I was like, maybe they didn't. But what would give you the certainty that they didn't with everything else? They had to back into the conviction. They can't tell you what the second crime is that made the first one a felony.
And again, you're talking from pulling from a jury pool that's 95-5 Democrat.
Yeah.
They thought they were doing their thing, and they couldn't contain themselves. All right, get to your Conway.
I can't wait. I can't wait to tell cousin Curtis. They gonna get Trump.
We got him.
They got him. And then he went and set the trailer park on fire, and he was celebrating. No, my cousin Curtis would never do that. He might set the trailer park on fire, but he ain't celebrating Trump being arrested. That's just not in his DNA. I wanted to play you something that I ran across. Conway Twitty. My mama would have left my daddy for Conway Twitty, and they were married for 50 years before my dad passed about 5 years ago. She loved Conway, but this is Conway AI, because Conway has passed on too, and he is singing a 50 Cent song. They've mashed it up with AI. I want you to hear it because it will make you smile.
You can find me in the club, a bottle full of bub. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug if you're into getting rough. Go shoddy, it's your birthday, we're gonna party like it's your birthday.
Sounds just like I want.
When I pull up out front, you see the Benz on the dubs. When I roll 20 deep, it's 29s in the club.
Here we go.
My flow, my show brought me the dough that bought all my fancy things. My cred, my cars, my clothes, my jewels, and tight-fitting jeans.
A mashup,
man,
of tight-fitting jeans and In the Club of 50 Cent by Conway Fitty.
No wonder why artists fear AI and what it could do to them in the future.
Sounds just like Conway.
Graphic designers are first and foremost.
Yeah.
So concerned about it, and you get it because it doesn't take long. I ask AI to create this, and as soon as it does, because I've basically paid for the access, I now have rights to any image that I need to use for any reason.
It's freaking crazy.
Graphic designers are in trouble.
Yeah.
Artists are in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, dude, everybody is. If Elon Musk is right and he says there will be no reason to work once AI is up and running, like full scale, runs everything, there will be no jobs left to do.
I remember when we played a portion of it, the AI George Carlin, where they took all of George Carlin's, all of his stand-up, gave it to AI, and then gave him AI modern topics. And it actually sounded probably within about 80-85% of what George Carlin would sound like in the jokes he was making.
If you get a chance, if you like Randy Travis, there is a new Randy Travis song that was done completely through AI with Randy Travis as, the person that gave the thumbs up because his health is not good, but he's able to, to get around a little bit. But he can't sing anymore because of the stroke. And he gave them permission to to clone his voice. And the new song sounds just like Randy Travis is singing it, and it's so good. It is so good. And there's that little bit of creepiness of like, this is not Randy Travis at all. It's so strange and so amazing and so bizarre and so cool. It's frightening and like amazing at the very same time. If you can be both, it is. That'll do it for us. Becca's up next for Rhino on vacation and front office Los. Board up, Goey, Virgin River. My name is Tug. Y'all come back down here.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Apparently, some people are using social media and everything they can find to compile a database of